Righto, we're live now. We're live.
Are we? G'day, everyone. Welcome. Is there? Did you
happening?
tweet this out?
No, I didn't. I forgot. I'll tweet it out.
That's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's been a long time, fellas. What have you been
I'm new at this. I'm new at this, all right?
So what's been going on in your worlds? Where have you been? It's been a long time. People have been demanding the return of ComicsMATE.
No, they haven't. But they should. They should have. I went on holidays early on over the school holidays there, so I've been away for nearly a fortnight.
Yeah, we noticed it's been a lot quieter.
How was your family trip?
Yeah, it's all right. We went with the in-laws, but I get along with them fine. And I managed to get a new story written while I was there. It's a short story, 10K, 10,000 words. That's technically falls in the realm of a short story or a novella. I think it actually is. It's over 7,000 words. It's a novella. So I just finished reading White Jazz by James Ellroy, who you guys seen LA Confidential with Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce in it, Kim Basinger. What's that pedo bloke's name? Kevin Spacey, he's in it. It's like 1950 LA cops. Yeah, it's really gritty. So the books, like if that's like a 5 in the grittiness facts, the books are like a 47. It's just brutal, man. He's just dropping the M-bomb left, right, and center. He's just so balls to the wall. His stories, and I just finished reading one of his books, and it's really brutal. And it's really immediate. And it's written in the first person. It's written in the present tense. I don't like first person. I do like first person. I don't like present tense. It's just really visceral. Like the whole time you're reading it, like reading a chapter of it's exhausting. Like get to the end of a chapter and you're like, oh, thank goodness that's over because I'm exhausted. And it's not a bad thing. It's just this really hectic book. And I wanted to write something like that. And I thought, I was thinking of that, the grittiness and just how real and cruel. Because, I mean, you think about like the 1950s, you think people were more moral then? I think they were just better at hiding it. I mean, some of these, in these books, because dealing with Hollywood and LA, there's like transvestite hookers getting toughed up and people just slashing each other. And it's just awful what people do to each other and kids getting murdered. It's absolutely full. And this guy absolutely plumbs the depths of the horrible things that mankind gets up to. And he's made this whole franchise off it, like he's made a career off it, millions of dollars off it, and he doesn't ever say this. James
Ellroy missed it.
That's right. James Ellroy for a second. He's this author who writes these really gritty books set in the 1950s.
All right, yeah, carry on.
And I just finished reading one of his books, and I wanted to write something like that with that level of grittiness. That immediacy, written in the first person, written in the present tense. And I had the idea of if you took something like early Bronze Age, late Silver Age Batman, where he was a guy in spandex with a utility belt, and he's a really good detective and he's a good fighter. But, you look at that Denny O'Neil stuff, he'd Batman would beat 3 or 4 guys in a fight, and then he'd just get clocked from behind by a guy that had like a chair leg, and then he'd be unconscious for an hour and have to get up and chase them. Zach had this one video where this one dude said to Batman, oh, okay, you can arrest me, but I need to get my toothbrush first. Can we go home and get my toothbrush? And Batman says, yeah, sure, dental hygiene's important. So they go home, get the toothbrush, but this guy jumps out the window and escapes, and Batman's got to chase him. This is 40 years before Batgod. So he's really competent, but at the same time, he can still get beat, and he still gets caught in these death traps. He's not as hokey as Adam West Batman, but he's not as full on as Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns. He's somewhere in the middle. And I thought, what if you take a character like that that's really, really competent, that uses all these vigilante superhero tropes, the utility belt, the costume, the martial arts, that sort of thing, and you drop him into this really gritty 1950s LA where everybody's screwing everybody and all the cops are crooked and all the racists hate each other, and it's just this visceral, seamy, stinking, hot, awful city of sin and vice, and then you've got this Batman-like character, this vigilante that's trying to manage it all. I thought that was a really cool concept, so I wrote the first in what I hope will be a series of short stories based on that character. The only problem is I don't have a name for him yet. The whole time through the book, he doesn't refer to himself. With his name, he talks about how other the newspapers refer to him as like the Avenging Angel of LA or the Night Flyer or all these other names, but he doesn't refer to himself as a specific name. And once I think of something that I like, because it's not easy to pick a name for a Batman type character, they've all been taken, all the good ones have been taken. I'm going to go back and edit that back in. But that's what I've been up to, Dean.
That's how I come up with the short name, because like every other hero name you think of, they're all taken. Nearly every character that ends with an "or" in it, like Punisher or someone like that, they're all gone. Replicator's gone. Executioner's gone. They're all gone.
Yeah. There's not really much you can do about that, though, right? I mean, for as long as anyone can remember, every character has been ripping off another character or copying another character in one way or another. So it was only a matter of time before they ran out of names. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Half of my characters don't even have names yet. Only 4 of them do.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you call them?
Just dotted lines in the script.
That's all right. I have one character in my book who is just called Mum. She doesn't have a name because she doesn't need it.
And that's sort of the some people talk about having like this huge body of lore for your characters, even if the readers never see it. What just works at the time. I'm sort of somewhere in between. Like I like to have a vague idea of why the character, like what sort of powers they have, and what the limits are. There's some people, you look at some of these how to write books, and people sit down and they say, you should sit down and write what your favorite character's favorite food is and the right color and all that. Like that doesn't. I had a video the other day, and I said it was about the rules of writing, 10 rules of writing that I apply to. And one of them was don't spend too much time talking about the physical appearance of your character, because people who read your books are just going to see what they want to see anyway. And I use the example of when I was in high school, I read this book called The Ninja by Eric Van Lustbader. And the character in it, Nicholas Linear, is biracial. He's half Japanese, half, I guess, Caucasian. And he's described as, like dark-haired and darker skinned. And my English teacher at the time was this fellow, Mr. Roberts. He's this big jacked footy player that just loved poetry, man. Like he was just down with Keats all day. Go the nights, but he just absolutely loved Keats. And he's a big dark-skinned, or darker-skinned, dark-haired fella. So he was my teacher in year 7 while I was reading this book. And I just couldn't help but picture the main character of this book as the guy that was my English teacher. And I've read all the books that Eric Van Lustbader wrote about this series, and every single time for 15 years, I always imagined Nick as looking like Mr. Roberts, because that's just the picture I got in my head. So I said, don't waste time describing your character too much, because people who read your book are just going to come up with their own image anyway. And if you spend too much time on it, people are going to be like, well, steady on. I mean, you spent like 4 pages describing how this guy looks. Like, that's you're a bit invested. You're a bit over-invested. It sounds a bit like you've got a bit of a self-insert there. It sounds like you put a little bit too much weight on how this guy looks, because you're compensating. So I think just take your hands right off that, just back right off that, and just say he was, just mention his height, or maybe burly or big or small or short or sinewy or wiry or whatever. But don't spend too long talking about his smouldering blue eyes and his straw-coloured hair. Back right off that. So I like to have a vague idea of how the powers work, but I wouldn't spend too much time sitting down writing down their favourite food or their eye colour, because I don't really think that thing matters until it matters. When you have to talk about
unless it comes up in the story or something, there's no reason to worry about something as arbitrary as their favourite food. And
that's something I point out. Like until it matters, it doesn't matter. Until that feature they have, whether it's a feature, a tribute, an attitude, whatever, it doesn't matter until it matters. And then you decide there on the spot, and that becomes it. He's got green eyes. Okay, he's got green eyes. We've worked it out because he needed it for the story. He will forever have green eyes. You don't forget that. It's your creation. Or you go back and you reference it. But you don't spend too much, because the time that you sit down planning out all this stuff is time you could be writing a real story. However, some people need to do that level of planning. So it's very, like all my videos, it's very individualistic. It's very much, this is how I do things. Take what works for you and ignore what doesn't.
Yeah, definitely. And like I've always said that I prefer characters with the more of the mystery. Like I like to imagine what happened. Like I'm sure we've discussed this before, but Wolverine, he was much better before we knew all of the stuff. Like before we knew about James Howlett and all that bullshit, he was a much better character.
Yeah, and I've mentioned that you know, once they did all that stuff, James Howlett and Rose, the red-haired girl, and Dog, and like once you know exactly what happened, there's no more mystery anymore. We can plot what happened in nearly every year of Wolverine's life.
Yeah.
Now that from when he was born, we've got a exact year date that he was born up till now.
So
like we didn't need that. Yeah, Stephen King talks about how when you know in a horror movie and you're climbing the steps one by one, and the camera's, you know, it's a camera view of the characters. They're climbing the steps one by one, and they reach out and they open the door, and it's incredibly slow and incredibly painful, and incredibly terrifying. And they turn the handle and they pull the door back, and the monster's behind the door. He says, nothing we can come up with, nothing you can describe, nothing you can make in visual effects, no special effects behind the door. You're a funny guy, Jason. Nothing that's behind the door is going to be as scary as what you imagined, because we imagine these nebulous things. You know, Alien worked better because you only saw hints of it. Now that you got aliens, there's Predator, and there's full aliens running around, and you can see them. Once you see something, you can deal with it. Doesn't matter how horrible a creature is, unless it's some sort of Lovecraftian thing that operates on Euclidean geometry that our eyes can't understand, and that's why it sends us mad. Anything you can see and look at, you can deal with. You go, okay, that's horrible. It's got 17 hands and 45 eyes, and it's bleeding out of 6 vaginas, but I can cope. I can deal with that. That's there right in front of me. But not knowing is better. Not knowing is scary. And not knowing about Wolverine's past made him more interesting. Now that I know that he's James Howlett, I care less. There's not that mystery anymore. He was just this little runty kid that was sick all the time. That's not a cool origin.
Yeah, it was stupid. Give a bit away of their origin, but don't give away everything.
I was going to say, just when you jumped in there, Kills, I thought, well, I know that you're a big fan of Punisher. Having Garth Ennis go and really describe the intricate detail of what happened to Frank over there in Vietnam. I mean, you got the story of him arriving as an officer. You got the story of him building up his career in the military. You got the Bourne, which is probably one of the best Punisher. Not probably, it is one of the best Punisher stories.
Bourne, yeah.
Yeah. So you got someone like Ennis who really gets the character like probably nobody else ever has. Even these creators didn't get him like Ennis has, and he's changed over time. So that's probably not a fair statement. But Ennis got him so well that when he did go back and describe all that intricate detail, it only added to the mythos of the character. So maybe we just say the people who wrote Wolverine Origin just weren't that good a bunch of writers. Whoever it was, I can't remember who it was. I give it to someone like Ennis, and he'll just add to the lore. He'll add to the mythos, and he'll make it better than ever. Punisher's a richer character. You ever see that one bit where he's I think he's having a dream. It's one of the Ennis runs somewhere in Max, somewhere like a white slave traders or one of those ones, and he just starts unloading in his dream on these bad guys with the M60, just laying down this hail of fire. And he says, but once all the bad guys are dead, he doesn't stop. He turns around, he starts firing into the street. And he just keeps shooting, and the gun doesn't run dry because it's this crazy dream. And he just shoots everybody and kills everybody. He just mows down the entire city. And he's sitting there amidst all this charred rubble and these burning cars, just millions of corpses, and he's killed everybody, because everybody's guilty to some degree. And then his family turn up, and they're dead, but I can't tell if I can't remember if they got bullet holes or they're just dead. And they say, yeah, Frank, you killed everybody, but we're still dead. And then he wakes up. Like the idea that he's never going to kill enough to make up for the guilt that he felt for handing them over to become Punisher, like Ennis detailed. Like he added so much more layer of mythos to the Punisher. The Punisher's a better character for Ennis's involvement. Wolverine's not a better character for, was it Quesada who did Origin? I think he did some of the art. Joe Kubert might have done the art. Adam Kubert. I'm old, I forget like these things.
In one way or another.
Yeah, I remember him spruiking it. I remember him hyping it.
Yeah. And yeah,
I
sorry
like
about
that Wolverine Origin movie.
No, what? Oh my fucking god! I hate that movie. That is my least favorite superhero movie out of.
What you hate about it?
What? Why are you like? Yeah, what did you like about it?
Which one? Sorry, which one's which? What is Wolverine Origin?
Origins
What's the one in Japan?
With the mangled Deadpool. The Deadpool who has his mouth shut and the laser eyes and can teleport.
And the end fighting scene, they're on top of that big fucking silo.
Which they climb for no reason. Where was Wolverine going? He was running from Deadpool and he decides to climb up the top of a fucking silo. That movie is so stupid.
I don't remember much about it at all. Just the opening sequence with the team, which was pretty cool. And there's a bit with like a helicopter exploding, and Wolverine was jumping off a bike onto the helicopter.
Yeah, they're chasing him with the bike. Yeah.
Some old guy gave him his flannel shirt, and it started his lifelong fetish of flannel shirts. And I think that's about all I remember.
It's where he got his
bad, isn't it?
leather jacket and his motorbike and everything from just this one old guy, this farmer who he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And he kept it for 20, 30 years, like however long the movies were.
I mean, when was Origins set? It could have been in the
80s, I think. I think it was 70s or 80s.
Maybe the 70s was the one in Japan. I don't like when they do that. I don't like it when Christian Bale Batman turns up and Morgan Freeman says, "Oh, by the way, here's your suit and here's your car and he go make some dodgy little batarangs out of Perspex and here's your mask custom made from China." I don't like that. I prefer the idea of Batman. They're tinkering away, making all of his own stuff. I thought they're like, we've got so much we want to fit into this movie. We've only got so much time. We paid for Morgan Freeman, guys. Like we paid for that boy, so we better use him. What can he do? Let's just give Batman all of his stuff. I know he goes to Lucas Fox for those little bits. Batman's long considered the best at everything, but it makes sense to be somebody better at electronics and somebody better at chemistry and somebody better at fighting. He's just the best at doing all of it together. Yeah. So it makes sense to go to someone like Lucas Fox to get his gear tweaked, but just say, "Oh, here you go. Here's your Batmobile. Just going to get an airbrush, paint it black. You're good, son. Go. Do your thing."
There was literally nothing. It was just something that was, when you first see it, it's under a bloody cover. It was just in the garage. It was something they scrapped years ago. They don't really tell you when. They're just like, yeah, it was scrapped. Don't worry about it. It's something that the army decided not to use.
And the fact that somebody recognized it, I think in the next movie, they recognized his gear and said, "Oh, this is stuff that Wayne Tech made. So obviously Bruce Wayne's Batman." And then Morgan Freeman sort of, psychs the guy out. But I thought, you're asking for trouble if you just go and take the intellectual property of your own company. That's just, if anything, you should have made stuff that was the complete opposite of that sort of stuff and marketed that. Iron Man creating missiles and moving on to Iron Man is a fairly standard response. But Batman Bruce Wayne should be investing in, I don't know, urban housing or something, and then using his fortune to make himself all these gadgets and everything. I didn't like that. I thought that was a bit of a cop out. But that whole movie, I've said that. What's his name? The guy who directed them, Christopher Nolan. His whole trilogy could have been called, Owlman or Nightman or Vigilante Man or Darkman. Well, I just don't think it was necessarily a Batman movie. The whole thing with Bruce Wayne and the gun and going to go back and kill the guy, and then Katie Holmes slaps him around, he throws it in the river and becomes a homeless dude. That was really well done. That was some Year One vibes. After that, I feel like it went downhill. He just sort of wandered around, learned to throw a few punches, and then I feel like he got nearly all of his training from the League of Assassins. And I just, like in the comics, he went to Wildcat taught him to box, and Lady Shiva and other people taught him martial arts, and he went to Sherlock Holmes, like literally in the Silver Age. Sherlock Holmes was canon. He taught detecting skills by Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that. And in this one, he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna Liam Neeson. Just Liam Neeson teaches me how to fight." I don't know. And then I turn up Lucas Fox, Morgan Freeman just gives me all my stuff. So you're not even a self-made man. Like that's Batman's thing, isn't it? He's a guy that stands shoulder to shoulder with the gods, and he's a self-made man. Everything. I mean, he's got billions of dollars to back him up. But somebody was complaining about Batman the other day being a billionaire. You hear it all the time. Oh, he's a billionaire, and he chooses to fight crime and break the jaws of poor people that are threatening to stab, kill, or shoot other poor people. So I think it's pretty fair. But he took that millions of dollars from his family and he turned it into billions of dollars. So I mean, he's sure, you give someone $1 million, you've got to work hard to not make money off that if you've got half a brain about you. But in almost every regard, he's a self-made man. He's taken tragedy and turned it into becoming, arguably the most competent human on the planet. And people want to throw in Lex Luthor or Mr. Terrific, but they're like Sentry or Blue Marvel. It's just after the fact. Mr. Terrific's the smartest, bestest electronics guy fighter ever. Okay. And how's his comics selling? Where's Mr. Terrific Begins? Where's Mr. Terrific Returns or Mr. Terrific Rises? I don't see it. So it doesn't matter.
Does he even have his own comic? Because I only ever see him show up in Justice League every now and then.
He was in that one that was like a Fantastic Four. I don't want to say rip-off, but it had Metamorpho.
A Fantastic Four rip-off.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't remember who else was in it now. That's terrible. But each one of them represented, Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, I think was Ben Grimm. I can't remember who else is in it. I should be able to, but they were like they're analoging DC characters to be Marvel characters. And it's called like the Incredibles, or the Excitables, or something like that. And I thought it was going to be all right, but it got cancelled fairly quickly. Like all that. What was that new line of comics that DC did? And it had that silencer that Zach loved so much, and it had the Hulk ripoff, and it had
New Age of Heroes or something. Like that.
Yeah. New Age.
And
Sideways was great.
That's the one, Sideways. Yeah.
Silencer was good.
Yeah.
I didn't read half of them, but I did read Sideways because it was done by Kenneth Rocafort.
They pushed it hard. Okay, look, Kenneth Rocafort, if you bloody watch any of these videos, particularly this one where I'm talking to you specifically right now, can you bloody answer people on Twitter when they ask how much it costs to get a cover done by you? I see you doing covers for people. I've seen many people ask you how much it costs for a cover. I got money, man. I got money to spend. Hit me up. Hook a brother up. Come on. I've asked you. Kels has asked you. There's no response. My money is just as green as Eric Weathers. It's actually not. It's many different colors because Australia has a skittle rainbow of money. You know, but our $100 is still green. So if I pay you in hungies, if I pay you in C notes, that's good. Fun fact, we call our $50 notes pineapples because they're yellow. There you go. That's some Aussie trivia for the non-Australians in the chat. Is there anybody even in the chat?
Yeah.
Sorry, Kels. You go on. Ignore me. Go on, Kels.
I've tried sharing my screen and now my thing's not responding. So I'm going to hit an X on my computer screen. If we drop out, I'll restart the stream again, all right?
Righto. Press F.
All right.
Obviously, what I was trying to share, my laptop didn't like.
He's going to drop
out. Rest in power, ComicsMATE. Yep.
Ready?
We're going with him.
Pray to go.
Set. Steve Perry.
Steve Perry. What?
Basketball. Psychouts. Steve Perry.
Your mum's going out with Squeak.
Classic movie. Somebody's just saying here that's on Twitter saying it's a good movie. Nobody should be ashamed of liking. Well, absolutely, it's a good movie. That Dodgeball and Major League are like the three best sports comedies of all time.
Yeah, I love all three of those movies.
They're fantastic movies. Major League 2, not so much, but Major League 1 is brilliant. Very, very funny. Yeah, Wesley Snipes. You got Charlie Sheen. No, it's just miss it. They couldn't get most of the people back. They got Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger back, but they couldn't get Wesley Snipes. How'd you go, Kels?
He's gone. He's not here anymore.
He is. I'm sure we'll drop out any second here. So, Dean, what have you been up to, mate? Also, who should I draw? If I'm going to be drawing, what should I be drawing?
You should be drawing one of my characters, mate.
But all your characters
should be racing with Skip. Racing with Skip because to make the first fan art ever.
All your characters
I've never received any fan art.
Regular people, though. I need. If I'm not drawing someone in spandex, I'm not drawing.
Try and draw my monster. Try and draw either of the monsters. I doubt you'll be able to draw the big bad. I can't even draw that thing. It's a pain in the ass.
Sensitivity.
Jason, if you're still in the chat here, mate, do you want me to send you a picture of my big bad monster and you can try and do that just for the fun of it in your own time? Because it is like this big, complicated tree monster thing, and it's got like mushrooms and gross shit and dead body parts, and it's just a fun time to draw. Yeah, you should draw the Marwol, Lee. Marwol, I guess.
See if I can find him on.
Oh, that should be easy enough. I tweeted it out like half an hour ago.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I'll see if I can find it on Twitter. But if you want to give me a link, that's even better.
Oh, I don't think I can. I can try.
That's all right, I'll find it.
Who's going to read the new DC Future State?
And then you can tell us how bad it is.
No,
we should do live group. Yeah, live group roasts of it.
Yeah, because I think we're going to have some mixed opinions on this thing. Because I know Kels hates all of it. Kels hates all of it, doesn't he?
Kels hates everything.
Yeah.
No, he loves Aquaman.
So I like that Batman suit. It's not my favorite, but I don't mind. I don't hate that at all.
I was going to call it. Yeah, I was going to call it Ultimate Captain Bat America.
Yeah. But see, I don't hate it though. But then the other bat suit, I really do hate. The other bat suit, I hate it, and I know it's Luke. I know it's Luke Fox under there.
Ah, there you go. Do you know that, or you know that?
I know that.
Oh, I mean,
this is
Superman of Metropolis. What the hell is that?
Is that John Kent?
Yeah, that's the kid. Yeah,
because you can see them. There's also you get Connor Kent as well, and he's got like a super suit with black on it. Yeah, I was looking at it because I don't like whoever did that main poster for it. I really like that artist, but I hate half of the things he's drawn.
I love those Wonder Woman designs, but just not for Wonder Woman.
Yeah. That's
I
get that. I get exactly what you're saying there.
Great designs, great costume. I love like the red sections, the red piping, without people going all racial and stuff about it, but like just the fact that the colors complement his skin tone, like as a visual, it's very well put together. I just don't see why. I don't know. People were arguing about it the other day. Why would Wonder Woman need to hand her mantle over as she's immortal? But there's been other women that have taken over the role of Wonder Woman, so it's not unprecedented.
Yeah, there's been other I nearly said Atlanteans, Amazons that have taken over the Wonder Woman mantle for various reasons over the years. And we all know it's not going to be permanent no matter how much they try to push this. And I thought that was Nubia at first. This is a new character, this one and the next one. Move across.
Yeah.
I thought that was Nubia. It's not.
Great costume, though. Fantastic costume. A bit to draw every panel. And I don't like the way they do that thing where they take the black shading of the gold armor, and I don't know how they do it exactly, but they change the black to a brown so that it doesn't have that hard line. You can see it's like a softer.
Yeah,
the lines are all soft. They've been doing that for years. I don't like that effect. I'd rather them just keep the lines hard. It looks, because then it just reminds me of looking at a digitally altered image instead of just being lost in the artwork.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I reckon I'll probably get some of them so that then I can sort of get up to speed on DC's new reboot shit.
Can we get a big look at this? Can you zoom in on this at all? Because this one really bothers me. This one.
Where do you want to look?
Everywhere. This whole thing bothers me. And it's like nothing to do with even the characters that they're using on the front cover or anything like that, right?
You reckon that's Lucius Fox there?
That's Luke, not Lucius. It's his son. He's whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah.
That's who that is, right? But what bothers me about this is, right, any artist out here watching will know as well. It's like the person has just gone and tried to draw cliche action poses, but at the same time, they're so stiff that it honestly, it looks like every one of them has jumped from directly above the position they're in and are about to land on the ground directly in front of them, but, are making the pose as if they're running, but they're actually not. It looks like they've all just taken a little hop.
When they do these poses, do you think the Flash just sits back and says, "All right, guys, you make a start. Because they're always at the back or they're always just at the side. Like, you see them all running forward and you see the Flash bring up the side on the left-hand side. You think he's sort of going, I'll give him 5 minutes. Then I'll catch up. I'll let him think they're getting ahead. Yeah. Why is the Flash all the way back there? That's actually the Flash went ahead, circled the entire Earth, and is coming up behind them from the circumference of the planet is what it is. That's
if anything, if you're going to feature the Flash on the page, you should just have a bit of lightning or something and everyone else running.
I don't know about that Suicide Squad, man.
Oh, go back to that one. Let me have a look.
It's like this. I don't know. It's this Justice League Suicide Squad. I don't know if they're clones. I don't know if they're villains trapped out to look like
if
this.
That's meant to be. If that's meant to be Aquaman, I don't know what the hell that is.
It could be a bit like that. You remember in after Civil War, they did that Dark Reign storyline where they got all these villains to pretend to be the Avengers, the Dark Avengers. You had like Bullseye pretending to be Hawkeye, and you had Daken pretending to be Wolverine, and Moonstone pretending to be Ms. Marvel, so that the public thought that they still had an Avengers protecting them. Maybe it's something like this. Maybe Amanda Waller's put together villains, cloned some other alternate dimension versions and said, all right, you guys are all going to work for me. You're going to look like the Justice League. And when we have a big problem go down, like a Black Ops type problem, where normally I'd send in Deadshot to go in and sneak in and kill people, we're going to send you guys in and you're the big colourful public face, and people go, oh, the Justice League's here, we're safe. And they go full Homelander on whatever the situation is and just heaps everybody, So maybe there's more to it than it. They might actually, they'd probably be interested in that.
What is this shit?
It's totally radical. Look at all that pink. can feel Kel's
I wasn't-
estrogen levels rising from here.
I was even just a little bit excited to read Aquaman until I read seen that cover.
I didn't even know what that was, like bisexual lighting, until 6 months ago, and now it's fucking everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm guessing that's the daughter that Kelly Sue want to give Aquaman a mirror in her run. I'm guessing that's Andy, the daughter.
Is that what Kelly Sue was doing?
Yeah, she turned
Oh.
Aquaman into a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Well, they all hate their own father, so it makes sense. They transfer those feelings onto, toxic males.
And then the only men that they do know.
And we got gay Aqualad here.
Is that
I actually like
that-
him. I'm a fan of Calderon, but then they changed him in the comic books because he's from Young Justice, the animated series, and he's a great character.
He
and then
is.
when
He's
they
good
put
in
him
Young
the
Justice.
comics, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And they
I'm
chucked him
trying
in
to-
the comics.
what-
They made him gay and
what-
changed his name.
Jackson Hyde is his name, isn't it?
That's not
Is it
what
Jackson?
it was. Probably
You talking
that
about
sounds right.
what's that one? That's that one that Zach reviewed really badly. That one where Aqualad is
You bring me the ocean or something.
yeah. Is that what
Oh
that is?
wow, that's
What are
that
they
character.
doing? What are they doing to Wally West?
I don't know why they hate Wally so much.
God.
Wally West is the best Flash. Wally West is the superior Flash. Barry Allen, the best thing Barry Allen ever did is die saving the multiverse in Crisis and stay dead for so long.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Not many people
like-
know, but Wally was the Flash for most of our lives. Like, if you were born after 1990, Wally was the only Flash you saw, and that includes in all the cartoons and everything.
And his journey from being Kid Flash through to
It was a
arguably a
natural
more powerful.
thing.
Yeah.
Decade.
It took a
Yeah.
decade, and it was by the end of it, he was a more competent and accomplished Flash than Barry was. Like he surpassed his mentor, which is really what every prodigy should, what every heir should aim for. They should aim to be better. Like Batman always says, Nightwing is better than me, not a better Batman, but he's a better man than me because he doesn't have all my hangups. He will make a better Batman. He'll be more compassionate. He'll be more effective because of it. He'll be what I can't be. Like he's long said how proud he is of him.
Did any of you guys?
52?
Did any of you read Titan, the new Titans when Rebirth first started, DC
I
Rebirth,
did.
and Brett Booth was doing the art?
Brett Booth. Yeah.
How
I was about to
good
say,
was that?
I only thought
That
it was
was-
Brett Booth.
That first
yeah, well, he
few
had all those
volumes was, that Brett Booth art and Wally West was wicked.
That was Brett Booth's form. He draws like that. Like he's one of the best modern comic artists I've seen. His pinups are just second to none. And every couple of months, he's just like, "Oh gosh, should I do a Kickstarter? Should I do some crowdfunding?" And people go, "Yes." And he goes, it's probably too much work. I just won't worry about it. Who wants to see my X-Men pinups? It's like, just do it, bro. Just jump in with both feet, become a millionaire, build your own IPs, build your own empire.
You imagine these nebulous things. Alien worked better because you only saw hints of it. Now
What are you doing,
aliens
Kel?
are and there's full aliens running around,
What the?
and you can see them. Once you see something, you can deal with it. Doesn't matter how
This is
horrible the
something
creature is, it's
Jason
some sort of
shared.
Lovecraftian thing that
What happened
Who's
there?
echoing?
It's not an echo. Hold on, I'll show you. I'll share.
Oh.
Hold on. I'll share it. Like, share me screen here. Share
can you-
audio.
Can one of you guys put the YouTube link in the chat so I can get onto the YouTube version of this?
Yeah, hang on. Righto.
All right. Well, I got it. It's ready to share. If you want to chuck it on the screen, Callaway, we can have a
Alright.
look at this glorious clip. Which is, if you have another 30 seconds, I can turn that into a cartoon, Jason.
Nothing that's behind the door is going to be as scary as what you imagined, because we imagine these nebulous things. Alien worked better because you only saw hints of it. Now that you got aliens, there's Predator, and there's full aliens running around, and you can see them. Once you see something, you can deal with it. Doesn't matter how horrible a creature is, unless it's some sort of Lovecraftian thing that operates on Euclidean geometry that our eyes can't understand, and that's why it sends us mad. Anything you can see and look at, you can deal with. You go, okay, that's horrible. It's got 17 hands and 45 eyes, and it's bleeding out of 6 vaginas. But I can cope. I can deal with that. That's there right in front of me. But not knowing is better. Not knowing is scary. And not knowing about Wolverine's past made him more interesting. Now that I know that he's James Howlett, I care less. There's not that mystery anymore. He was just this little runty kid that was sick all the time. That's not a cool origin.
Yeah, it was stupid.
There's that guy. Seems like a wanker. Full of himself. What about that new Swamp Thing? They
yeah,
you see that one on Twitter? That one on Twitter that's like the You Brought Me the Ocean one. It's another YA. Somebody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's atrocious artwork. I mean, he's making comics and I'm not, but you don't have to be a good chef to know whether food tastes good or not. I like the look of that. I'm afraid it's going to be a bit woke because as soon as you start using these big symbols of liberty and that sort of thing, you know, people can't help themselves. They start putting.
I don't know who half the writers are. I think they're all Hollywood people.
Yeah, I think I heard that they're getting
most of them.
No, I don't know any of those names. I know Matthew Rosenberg, but I'd rather not. Marika Tamaki, I'd rather not know her either.
Vita Ayala, you get there.
I think Paul Jenkins is kind of reliable.
It's either going to be a hit or it's going to be bust. One of the two.
It'll probably get decent sales because people want something. You know, this is the time to do it. People are dying for new content, and people do like Elseworlds was always a big deal. What If was a big deal. What If went on for years and years and years. People loved What If. People love alternate takes, alternate universes, particularly the Elseworlds one where it's like the whole mythos is transplanted into an alternate universe. That's fantastic. You guys ever see the one Speeding Bullets where Superman's as a baby, he crash lands in Gotham and he's found by the Waynes, and then he watches Joe Chill kill his parents, and that manifests his superpowers, and he basically becomes Batman with Superman's powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And the one that Mike Mignola did, I think it's the horror or the terror that came to Gotham. They just did an animated one of that a little while ago. It's like Lovecraft, Cthulhu type stuff mixed in with the Batman mythos in Victorian London, or maybe it's in America. Actually, it might be on the east coast of America. But there's some fantastic alternate universe stuff. So people want this sort of thing. But I think what will happen is it'll get some initial big sales, and then it'll drop off as people realize it's woke and it doesn't respect the source material. And I think that's people's biggest gripe with it all, is it doesn't respect the source material. The people that are writing comics now are so quick to kill off, demonize, humiliate, depower, trample all over all these classic characters that we've loved for our entire lives. You know, when I saw that panel of Wonder Woman ripping out the spine of Superman's corpse in DC Metal, I think it was in Metal, you know, like some people are like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, you're the sort of people that, you know, hate Superman and think Manchester Black is cool. I'm nearly 40. One of my earliest memories was watching comics and reading comics as a kid. And when you're going to not much after you got lobotomized. You do that, you just turn me off. I'm just like, I don't. It's bad taste. It's in bad faith. I'm not interested. So I think this will get an initial big bump because people like alternate universes, and you know they're pushing it hard. Like the art style's good, the color's good, the art's good. Some of the costumes are really good, and I think it'll taper off after a bit like House of X and Powers of X and all that. Started out strong. Like
that went
didn't
shit, didn't it?
Died in the arse. You know, and I think the same thing will happen here for different reasons. Instead of being boring, it'll be woke. It'll be repetitive. It'll be trite. And I think
let's go through these real quick because I keep forgetting. I meant to say this way back at the start. All right, yes or no? If you're going to buy these,
no, for all of them.
Yeah, no.
Don't buy comics.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How about if I'll read it? That's different than buying it.
Yeah.
Do you guys
We're
like
saying
these
buy?
borders?
We buy our comic books, right?
Yeah. I'll read it.
Yeah.
I buy everything that I review.
I will read whichever Batman has Bruce Wayne in it still.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read race swapped Batman or any of that garbage.
Well, I don't know if it is because they're stopping all their normal titles, and for the 2 months, it's just going to be this stuff.
Yeah, I know. All right, pulling out my keyboard. Got this shit going. Hold
Let's
up.
get real.
I do like this green cover. I do like the green one.
Yeah,
That does look cool.
that's always a good
Let me
image.
see. Oh yeah.
I think it'd work better if they pulled in closer though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like, there's
definitely.
a lot of dead space. You could have pulled right into kind of, I don't know, an inch from his right arm, as our left as we're looking at it, and then an inch on the other side. Pulled it right in close, and made the target smaller and still cover like his head, his chest.
The thing that looks funny about that is he looks like he's staring down the scope of a gun without moving. Like you're not going to stare at a gun that's going to shoot you, are you?
It might even be better if he wasn't looking at the gun. If he was unaware of it, he's about to get ambushed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He looks like he's looking at it and it's like too stupid to move.
Do you think they're keeping him far back to sort of hide his identity? Sort of like from here, it looks just like regular Batman. Like I can't see if he's got a mask covering his mouth. I can't see he's got like the Bruce Wayne physique. Like Bruce Wayne's he's bigger and bulkier than Dick Grayson or Jason Todd. So from here, it looks like Bruce Wayne. And somebody might just pick it up, going, "Oh yeah, this is Bruce Wayne. This is cool. I like the new logo. I like the colors. I like the idea. The sniper scope and that sort of thing." Maybe they're trying to hold off on giving anybody clues as to who it might actually be.
What do you think about the trade dress?
I like it, just not for Batman. Like I like it all if it was a whole different line.
Different. Yeah.
It's definitely got that future feel to it, like it's future state. And I like the way that the Batman logo's got the jagged edges, like his crenellated cape, so it sort of still has that vague bat shape to it.
Yeah.
But it's all very Blade Runner-ish too. Like it's futuristic, but it's like retro future. It's like retro, synthwave and retro new wave and all that sort of stuff. It's like, look how futuristic we are by going back to the 80s and 70s. I mean, that one there looks like Blade Runner. Like Gotham shouldn't be.
That looks like it's in the future. That one.
Yeah, I was going to say Gotham shouldn't be futurized is not a word. Shouldn't be updated in the future. It should maintain that ancient look, that old-fashioned look. Because once you change Gotham that much, I think you lose some of what it is. I mean, there's so many reasons why Gotham is the way that it is. It's over Hellmouth. It's over all this, all these curses and Indian burial grounds and all that sort of stuff. I mean, if you futurize it, if you make it all modern and up to date, does that take away from that? Does that negate those things? Could you jam enough technology into Gotham to stop it from being this living, breathing depository of evil that draws every psychopath in the state to it and keeps Batman in a constant state of mental anguish? I think no.
That is the question.
And you'll have to read Detective Dead to find out, ladies and gentlemen.
I do like that cowl, though. That cowl is interesting.
Yeah, it's very very functional. I mean, you're not getting a lot of ear protection and everything, but neither does Captain America. And neither probably does a lot of soldiers when they wear the modern military helmets. There's certainly open areas there.
No, right.
It's going to be, how far in the future is it?
I don't know.
Because
I have to read on it first.
And then down the bottom it says, I can't read it, but it says the Red Hood.
Featuring the Red Hood.
Also featuring Red Hood. All right, so maybe he's. I thought if Jason Todd was going to take on Batman's mantle, he'd definitely go more militaristic. I mean, doesn't that reflective cowl helmet remind you of Jason Todd's, red? That's not Red Hood. That's
no, it looks cool, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's got me most interested out of all of them. Like a really punky, gritty, street level Batman going back to that brawling. Like you can see even where the ears are just bolted on the side. Like this isn't a fancy job. He just welded that on at home and decided to go out and beat up guys with his bare hands.
That's that reflection kind of reminds me of the Crossbones from the MCU a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's some wasted potential. How all superhero movies, like they kill off most of the villains. They've been doing it for years, but they still do it. Like Crossbone's been plaguing Captain America in the books for years and years and years. And this time you got 20 minutes in Winter Soldier and 10 minutes in Avengers 2, and that's it. There's Crossbones. 40 years of history gone. See you later.
Coming back. I was reading an interview with him the other day. The guy who plays Crossbones, he started his own movie studio, and he's doing a lot of like cell phone small movies.
Yeah.
And he said he's still contracted to the MCU for 5 more movies.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but whether they use
What
him
do you
or not.
think? What do you think? Check out what I'm sharing, Callaway, before we move to the next one. Tell me if you can see this, because I don't know if it's going to work. Can you see it?
No.
Oh, God damn it. I don't know why it's not working. Yeah, don't worry about it then. I have that terrible Twin Branches Swamp Thing.
Oh, righto. Yeah. Well, so this guy did this review of it, and he just did like a Twitter review, just tweeting what he thought in like a little thread, and it was really good. It was really concise. Wish I could remember who it was. And he said essentially, because it's a young YA author, which is it doesn't what's YA stand for? Young
adult.
Thank you. For some minute I thought it was young author. It's like young author. That doesn't make sense because it's a YA author. He said that it's something like a 180-page book, and he doesn't become Swamp Thing to page 173 or something. Like he's the whole rest of that panel we see of him transforming into Swamp Thing doesn't happen till right at the end, and the whole rest of the book
now
is the relationship of him and his brother. And he said
page
essentially
80, nothing. I'm up to page 80, still nothing.
Yeah. And he says just, you got one brother that's smart, one brother that's strong, one brother that's clever, one brother that's physical, like mental, physical, that sort of things. It's Loki and Thor. It's Karaman and Raceland from Dragonlance Chronicles. Like it's been done so many times. One brother is physically competent, one brother is mentally competent. They don't get along because of that. Because they're twins, and originally they're supposed to be one person. One person who was both physically and mentally competent. But when they split up, they sort of took that from each other, and there's issues there. So he said the whole book's just them working through these issues, just not getting along for 170 pages, and then when they're in danger, he drinks something. I think I saw in the picture, and he becomes Swamp Thing, and saves his brother despite their issues. He says that's it. That's the story. Like he summed it up in about 4 sentences. He said it was not worth 180 pages. It's not worth whatever they charged you for it, and that art doesn't belong in a DC book.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed, is that whoever did this art cannot draw at all. Cannot draw.
So you're saying I've got a shot, Dean? You say I've got a shot at a DC contract still?
No, you have the wrong political beliefs, and you're the wrong skin color, mate. Sorry.
Oh, I'm pretty toxic as far as males go.
Okay, here we are. We're 166, and he's finally turning into Swamp Thing.
There you go.
And it takes 2 pages, and it's underwhelming as fuck. And it doesn't look like Swamp Thing.
Is that the cover we're talking about? The one that I'm sharing?
Hold on, I'm going to close it. I'm done with it. Yep, that's the one. That's what I'm scrolling through right now.
Does that not scream lesbian to you?
It's garbage. And if I had read it, I'd probably be telling you right now that they somehow retconned Swamp Thing to be gay. Because that's what it looks like.
This is something I pointed out in a video review I did a while ago. They had a female character get attacked by some, they called them gangbangers, like a gang. And the guys were all white, but they were dressed in like urban wear with the baggy pants and the backwards hats and that sort of thing. and I said, was it?
It's PC gone mad, mate. That's what it is.
Oh, was it internalized racism for the artist when he said in the script, draw this character being attacked by a gang, and he drew them.
And he drew them like that? Yeah.
Yeah, he drew them like that. But then was it editorial edict that said, well, hold on, you've got to, because if they said draw them as white guys, would you have gone and put
different clothes?
The baggy pants and sneakers? Yeah. I mean, you intentionally put that stuff on there. Like there's a disconnect there. I feel like he had internalized racism and he didn't even know about it. He assumed that a gang member attacking someone should be of a particular color, but he was told to make it a different color. And when you
I bet it would have happened the other way around though. I bet he would have just drawn a normal picture of what anyone would picture of a gang. Probably a couple of different races mixed in together. Because he's not a racist, right? But then they would have gone back to their editors, and who's in charge at Marvel would have turned around and said, "Sorry, mate, we can't have any intimidating or strong or mean or bad in any way people of color, and so every single one of those gang members is going to have to be white." And rather than redrawing the entire panel, because fuck that, he's just gone off and just changed the color of their skin.
I'm afraid you might be right. It's a bit sad, isn't it? It's actually an Amazon book, which is about the same. I mean, as far as SJWs go, Amazon's right up there.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter what we're looking at anymore. They're all the same at the moment. They're all getting worse and worse. But then you have
I like that cover.
Yeah, that's the top cover.
Yeah, that's Batman Superman. I'll probably give that a go. That's the first one, other than the Batman one, that I'm actually looking at going, yeah, I'll give that a shot. That looks good.
Some of the covers look good.
I think most of the art looks good. Most of the costumes look good. I just don't think it's going to have the writing chops to keep people interested.
Yeah, no, I won't be reading any more Catwoman things.
Although
I don't mind the costume of the new, like with the blue and stuff on it. I don't mind that at all. No,
that's just a pass. She's so
hard pass.
So overdone. There's just nobody who reads. I don't think anybody who reads comics reads Harley Quinn comics for starters, and they wouldn't anymore either. The people who still like her, talk about her and fan for her and stand for her are people who don't actually read comics. They're Suicide Squad movie fans, Hot Topic fans, and people who I remember dropping the kids off to school right after Suicide Squad come out, and as Book Week, we have Book Week in Australia, and the kids dress up in costumes, so they dress up in and every second girl was Harley Quinn with the little booty shorts, and these 7-year-old kids running around little shorts with baseball bats, foam baseball bats, and their faces all painted up, and it's like Harley Quinn robs bus full of children. She's a child murderer. There is nothing to.
Yeah. She has murdered many people,
and her redemption isn't sufficient.
It was all for. Yeah, exactly. No, not at all. Not at all. What, she breaks up with the Joker and so everything's forgiven? No fucking way. People have. Who created Punchline? Punchline has been created to fill the void that these people have created by taking Harley Quinn, because they needed a psycho who was obsessed with the Joker and blah blah blah, who's a scary female. But no, they took Harley Quinn, turned her into a woke feminist icon, and just straight up ruined the character. There's no two ways around it. Like, the fact, even I know girls and women and of all ages, right, that will agree with me when I say that Harley Quinn was a more interesting character when she was all messed up and broken. Not all this women empowerment bullshit. It's because when you see, they even do it in the movie still, right? Now she's broken up with her, when she's broken up with Joker and blah blah blah. Her friends will be like, "Oh, good on you, but you're going to go back to him, etc." That's the way people think as well. It's like she's going to go back to him, and then they just never did. They just never put her back there, and that's a very big mistake because they're trying to turn Harley Quinn into something that she's not.
Now, with the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, that ruined any chance of the comics going back to the way it was.
Because that's the version people know now.
Yeah, although, did you see what they're doing in the Suicide Squad? She looks more like Harley Quinn. Yeah, she looks more like Harley Quinn than she ever has in the new one.
Oh man, that Birds of Prey was bad. I only got up to the scene where she dropped the I had to stay out, man. I couldn't do it.
That's like the first 10 minutes of the movie too.
Now. It's on Netflix now.
Have you seen it, Kels?
I've seen
God
it.
No. God no.
You know what you got to do?
There's no way we can stream it without getting struck, is there?
No, not at all. But it's so funny, right? Because it's a failure on every level. Like, even when they do behind the scenes stuff, you can tell that they did all those stupid hiring practices that they did everywhere else, but they did it behind the scenes as well. Because you have they try to do the best example I can think of is the slow motion stuff. In a movie, you see it go all slow motion, so you can see them start throwing the punch, and then it speeds up right before they hit him, and it looks like he's been knocked out, right? They do the whole thing in slow motion, so you see the fake impact and the overreacted reaction, and then it speeds up after she's made contact already. So they couldn't even pull off the goddamn special effects properly. It's a disappointment.
Soon as they named it as Harley Quinn and the Birds and the One of Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn or whatever it is, you knew straight away that they were going for the blonde bimbo, that sort of la-di-da, teeny bopper fucking thing. And it was just there was nothing exciting about the title that made me ever want to watch it. Like, it made me reading the title makes you think you're losing brain cells.
Yeah. Huntress is one of my favorite female characters from the comics, and they completely ruined her.
Yeah, Black Canary that destroyed her.
Yeah, the Black Canary thing, they turned Black Canary into Vixen. She was even wearing a Vixen, like a classic Vixen outfit with the gold pants and stuff.
Yeah.
It's something shocking. I honestly don't know what the hell. Oh, there's so much. That movie was a mistake in every way. It was just, there's nothing good about it. I can't find one good thing about it. Margot Robbie, she's pretty good looking.
Not in that movie.
Yeah, but see, even then, like, they even ruined that. No.
It's very futuristic, isn't it? Like, it's definitely not set
Does
in
Robin,
the present time.
Yeah, but does Robin ever sell good books? Let's be honest. And hold on, that'll probably be a new Robin.
It might be Damien, I reckon. Like, it looks like it's in the future, so it might be Damien as a bit older. Maybe.
Yeah, but that's what makes me say it might be a brand new Robin, is because it's in the future.
Yeah, it'd be Damien.
Damien would be Nightwing age.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. That does not look like what Superman should look like.
It looks like Nightwing.
No, I think that needs a cape. It needs a cape. And even then, that wouldn't help it too much because it's uninspired.
It's CrossFit Superman.
Yeah, it's CrossFit Superman. But that's, I don't know. I'll probably give this one a look. But that's because I like Kingdom Come. But even then, the premise of this one sounds stupid.
What is it? I haven't heard anything about it.
It's something like Superman has been turned into an outcast on Earth, right? And so he leaves Earth and he goes to Warworld to try and help Warworld instead.
I mean, I like half of that.
Yeah.
I wonder what
but
they're going to have to come
it was
up
one of those. It's one of those things that I heard when I first heard it. I'm like, oh, that could be interesting. But then the more I thought about it, it just kind of falls apart. Like, if he's being exiled and hunted and people don't want him on Earth anymore, all right, fair enough, go into hiding. But why would you leave Earth and go to one of the only other planets in the entire universe that is also full of people that hate you and want to kill you? And not only that, but they're superpowered and stuff. You know, like, no human could beat someone from Warworld.
No.
And that's just me scratching the surface. I dig it. I'll probably check it out. I don't really like the belt thing. It's kind of stupid.
I don't like the pink, For some, I don't reckon pink is Wonder Woman.
Pink's definitely not Wonder Woman. No, yeah. Wonder Woman is definitely not pink. She gets like gold and red and.
No thanks.
What the hell? No, not interested in any way.
What's with the suit?
Scar's alright.
She's got cankles.
Well, yeah, she's gonna stand up. She's probably got like thick ass thighs and body positivity.
She got a big booty there. She looks like Kemosabe's kind of girl.
What makes you say that?
I hate that costume.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's barely even a costume. It's like some Star Trek reject with a skirt cape. attached to it.
Is that the costume? I'm not convinced that is the costume.
Well, you don't start
might
a
just
number
be
one without a
regular
costume on the
clothes.
cover.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Nah, I don't buy it. I wouldn't buy that one.
I don't like the
I wouldn't
art.
even pick that up. Like, I wouldn't even pick that up to have a look at it. And same with this one. This one looks stupid.
This should be Bendis written too. No thanks.
Yeah, so it's going to be garbage.
Instant
Absolute
pass.
garbage. Yeah. Superman, Wonder Woman. Ugh.
Yeah.
Are they going to try and put these two in a relationship now?
Probably.
It might work better
I'll
than,
probably
you know, there's no preconceptions about them. You can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Like in terms of, you know, the numbers make sense. Some as powerful as Superman, some as powerful as Wonder Woman make sense. It's a couple, but it's always atrocious when it's done. Because they're not Clark and Diana, this might actually work.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I probably will get this Lex one though.
I saw this cover. It reminds me of, in the Silver Age, there's a reverse Earth where Lex Luthor is the Superman of his world, and Superman's considered a villain, and the whole population of Earth thinks that Lex is a hero and they hate Superman. And he's got a wife there, and he basically runs the world. And in the Silver Age, he'd come back, like he lived on Earth, and he's just messing with Superman, doing his schemes and stuff. And then every couple of years, some writer would remember that he's got a whole planet that he's not conquered, but like he's the leader of, and they love him, and they think he's a hero, and they adore him and hate Superman. And he's still living there with his wife and his millions of dollars in his mansion, running the world.
Well,
he decides
that's
to live
what
on
that
Earth.
looks like.
Yeah, screw on with Superman for the lols. Why to pay, man, and get over it. The Silver Age, his whole motivation was that Superman was responsible for him losing his head. His whole motivation for hating him.
This one here has created my favorite comment on Twitter all week.
That wasn't one about her thighs, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Go on, what was it?
What Jason? Look, I just noticed what Jason said. Karen Zor-El. That's funny as. But yes, yeah, this one here. I want to lick her thighs. I'm an instant fan, and that can piss everyone off. I don't care. I like this one.
Like I said, I love the design. Like the blue black hair particularly sells it, but the grey on the red, the gold, the blue black hair, and then like I said, the colours really suit her skin tone. The fact that she's got bare thighs, there's a big block of colour that perfectly, and the fingerless gloves. I love everything about this design. It just works. Every aspect of it works. It's really good. And then the asymmetry with the one shoulder guard, but not on the other side. I really like asymmetry in costumes. So I'm down with it. I probably won't read it, but I love the costume.
I'll give this one a go.
You can tell me how bad it is.
Yeah, it will be bad. I'm aware of that. But this one bothers me from an artist standpoint, like I explained before, because it just looks like a bunch of cutouts.
Well, they almost look like 3D trace models.
Yeah, it looks like they could actually do
three.
this or something, right? That would explain why they're so stiff. There's something about that just really bothers me, especially that Superman. His arm's not even pointing in the right direction.
No, that's right. There's no reason for it to be up like that. He's not. That's awkward.
And
he's like
those
little those little manipulated figures you can get that got all the joints, and you can manipulate them to. Looks like he's done that. He's got the little flying stand pose and everything. He's got a male and female version of that, and he's made these poses up, and he's used that for reference. Like Jack Kirby would have drawn that with some bizarre angles and these characters just like flying off the page, their feet not even touching the ground. It would have made no sense. It would have been so dynamic and bombastic. I like the art, the detail, the color, the costumes. It's competent, but it's just competent. That's the problem. It's just there.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing really bad that you can pinpoint, but it's just all right. I've done the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Of competence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably check that one out. But
Team Lantern. Fucking interesting.
Yeah, that looks awful, that book.
I don't need another Green Lantern. Why do they keep introducing new Green Lanterns?
Because all the other ones
Brian Michael Bendis had to make his super smart teenage black girl.
Yeah, and then what? Nobody likes her, so they're like, okay, here, we'll try another one.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
The best one somebody pointed out was how James Rhodes has actually got a niece around the same age as Riri, And if you wanted a young African American girl to take over the mantle of Iron Man,
that would have made sense.
it could have very easily have been. It was passed to Rhodey. It's passed to her. And she's like an engineer. She's a tech genius. It would have made sense. But Bendis has to create his own characters because he gets the kickbacks. When somebody uses that character in media, he gets the payout. He gets the money. I remember Chuck Dixon saying that Bane basically put his kids through college. Like every time Bane turns up, he just gets paid. He says, I remember saying the Lego people are the best because they love Bane. They put Bane in every Lego Batman thing. Bane's in it. Every time they put him in something, he gets a big, nice check turn up at his house. And he says between that and the fiction that he sells on Amazon, that pays his bills.
Yeah, I won't be getting the Green Lantern book. I will not be getting Suicide Squad either. I would be interested in Suicide Squad if that cover didn't look so fucking horrible.
Yeah, are they wearing masks or something?
I don't know. That's probably my least favorite, though, out of all of them that we've seen so far.
Well, he's some sort of squid Aquaman. So is it Ocean Master? Is it sort of clone? Is it clone where a clone where the fish side of him took over too much and he's become more fish than man? I mean, there's a bunch of ways it could be a whole bunch of different things. Is that Bizarro up there? You know, is that
the handicapped Flash thing is kind of weird too.
Isn't there like 3 of them? There's like a few of them that have got it. This one's got it. There's a couple in Legion of Superheroes that's got it. It's like these guys have just discovered prosthetic legs.
Yeah.
Like
What's the go with this?
What, Martian Manhunter or Crazy Wonder Woman?
The Wonder Woman hand.
No.
She's waving to us. She's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, she's breaking the fourth wall.
She sees a flying back and she's about to cripple him for life. Just.
Or
what's wrong with Martian Manhunter? He's like melting.
That's what makes me think they're imperfect clones. They're all Bizarros.
Yeah, they're weird versions of them for sure.
That take maybe the worst attribute. Well, I don't know what's happening with Flash then, but they take the worst attributes of each one. Like if you take away Batman's empathy,
Jason's right. Jason's right. What he was saying, EVS was saying that you don't get royalties on characters that are derivative. Talking about the Green Lanterns. And yeah, he's right. You can add another Green Lantern into the mythos, but because it's like a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just adding another one to the list. But like the guy who made Batman and stuff, like Bob Kane made out like a criminal. Terrible. And like what's with the baby Mira? That literally just looks like a young Mira. It's like you wanted to get rid of Aquaman entirely and just make Mira the main character. Go right ahead. That's what you've done.
And then just call her Mira.
Yeah.
This doesn't say anything. It's just all these speedsters unconscious or dead and like evil Wally. People who
we haven't seen before.
That's right.
This one could be interesting. Because I've grown up with the Teen Titans, so I'll probably give that one a look. And I'll give Shazam a look because I'm a fan. I like Shazam.
I think he's the most stupidest character ever made.
Yep. And I agree, and that's what I like about him. He's one of those like just campy, ridiculous heroes that when Lee says he loves cape shit, I love cape shit too. And like that's one of those, I love that thing. It's so dumb.
All right. Someone else can share a screen for a while if they want.
Sure.
Lee, bring your characters up.
Oh yeah.
Could do that. We could do that. All right. I don't have them all here, unfortunately. But the ones I got there. Because nobody's going to watch this, so I can talk about them and people still be surprised when they see them in the book.
Yeah.
Talk about it without spoiling it, if you can.
Well, if you've seen any more reviews, I'm not able to do that at all, ever. That's beyond me. I'll show you the my original promo pics and then show you the way that the guy who's my artist, the way that the artist fixed them for me. So these are actually, how do you share screen? All right. You guys see that? That showing up all right? All right. So these are my scribble sketches that I did. I was moving out of one place into another across state, and I didn't have a computer and I didn't have my tablet. So I just used biro and the kids' coloured pencils just to do it, because the artist is like, well, I'm up to the fight scene between the team, between the company men and between the bad guys. I need to know what the bad guys look like. So I dropped these sketches for him. So I'll show you these 5 guys, and then I'll show you how he's improved them. I got to be honest, he's improved them. This guy, this is Arsenal. He's a cybernetic gunslinger, as you can see. So I'm going for that whole favela Brazilian sort of face mask, MS-13 type sort of thing. Originally, I had his arms going to be like, Super Patriot from Savage Dragon or Vera Black.
I was picturing Ghost in the Shell.
Similar sort of thing, yeah. So the arms expand, and you can see all the lines there. Like, obviously, they're cybernetic prosthetic arms. They all click out and expand to turn into a bunch of guns. You can configure them to be all sort of different guns.
Yep.
And he's just about laying down the firepower. That's where all the bullets and all that sort of thing is.
Nice.
And like these guys, they all die in the.
I've seen the final design of this guy, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to draw this guy. This is the guy I want to draw.
They all end up dead. So I just wanted to make like these. People do like this thing. Oh, they're like a pastiche of 90s. No, nothing like that. I just wanted to make like some edgy mercs, some edgy superpowered metahuman mercs that'd be like, I cut things up. I'm X-Blade. I shoot things. I'm Arsenal. Like, it's just bad dudes that get paid to hurt and kill people. And in they come up against the company men and realize, hey, these guys are badder than us, and they get taken out in fairly short order. I think it's a good fight, but these guys are made to die. And then the artist is like, because he's actually Brazilian, and he said, I've showed some of these designs to my friends. They really like these 2 characters. TK and Arsenal, can you please not kill them? It's already been written, brother. You're drawing them die. Get ready. So he's just a.
Is there a way they could come back in the future though?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll talk about that when I show you the expanded designs that he did. So this guy's he's just a cybernetic ninja. He's Grey Fox. He's got that single eye. He's bulletproof. Swords cut through stuff. They're like energy blades, vibro blades, that sort of thing. His body's cybernetic and enhanced. He's got that exterior shell that makes him tough to crack. This guy's this nuke. He's just always constantly burning with nuclear flame, like he's just in constant pain, and he's contained within this suit. He's actually got a helmet that he puts on to contain the whole thing. I didn't draw that in there. I wanted him to be bigger and bulkier, and in the redesigns he comes out a lot slimmer. But like I said, these guys are. Thanks, Jason. These guys, they don't survive long. They're made to die. They're just chaff. Rocket, he does what he can make huge kinetic blasts and propel himself forward like a rocket, very much like Cannonball, like shooting the energy out from behind him to propel himself forward and create a protective energy field around him. And wherever he hits, he can detonate that field and cause another explosion. So it's like being not a living nuke, but a living missile. He can shoot himself somewhere, and when he lands, where he hits that area, he can detonate and explode, and then he can do it again. So you think about like the Jericho. Yeah, you think about like the Jericho missiles out of Iron Man, that sort of thing, how it hits and leaves this big shockwave and blows stuff up. If you can imagine a human being able to do that multiple times, you don't need a jet. You just need this guy. He just blows stuff up. And his costume is supposed to be kind of like a flight pilot or a test flight pilot, or even an astronaut, sort of little with the gear and the rigging and that sort of thing. But it's all torn up, and he's I don't know if he used to be I didn't come up with backstories for them. I just wanted them to be cool bad guys that make my heroes look good while they die. TK, she's just telekinetic. Like in the story, I literally had her described as TK, the ninja described as Blade, Rocket described as Rocket, Arsenal was described as not Super Patriot until I figured out what I wanted to call him. Super Patriot from Savage Dragon does the same thing. He's got these cybernetic arms and legs that can turn into guns. And I think, is there a 5th member? Is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that's the team. And there's 5 members of the company men, and they don't exactly match off person for person. It's not like they're made to foil them specifically. These guys were sent to kill a witness that the company men need to question. So when the company men turn up to question this witness, he gets scared off, and these guys say, "Well, you just cost us a payday, so we're gonna take you out," and that's how the fight starts. So I'll just hold on a sec.
Oh.
Hold on, just got to sort out the kid. Hold on.
All right, that's fine. Swap to my screen for a minute, Callaway. We can have a look at what I've been working on.
Which one?
I'm sharing the tablet.
That one?
This is what I've been doing today. Yep, this is what I've been doing.
What are you doing? Re-inking everything?
Yeah, adding all the extra shadows and everything. Here, I'll show you. Because I did it all on a new layer. All right, I got rid of the colors entirely. And that's what I had.
Yeah.
And I'm going in, I'm rendering the rest of it. And I've got more to do, obviously. You can see what I have and haven't done. Because when you get rid of all the inks, this is what you have. This is all the shadows.
Yeah.
So I still have most of that stuff in the middle to fill out. But there you go. That's the title page. And the new, more details on the... Just more details. You know what I mean?
You can hear the defeat in his voice.
Yep. I can't,
Drawing
man,
trees again.
I can't see any more trees. And now it's going to take twice as long as it was already taking a long time, and now the trees are going to take twice as long. But it looks better, right? Like, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Even just this bottom bit here, yeah? Even without color, that looks infinitely better. So, it has to be done.
It's easy for us to say, oh, that looks better. It's totally worth the effort you're putting into it. Like, only you know if it's worth it, but it definitely does look better. And, you said you want to put your best foot forward. This is how you do it. And this you compare that you're going back and redrawing detail, adding detail into your work because you can do better in the time you've been working on it. Compare that to these people, the big two people, diversity hires or whatever, that just hand in any old script. That you see that one with the bathroom in Batgirl where the bathtub was drawn in front of the door so she couldn't actually enter or leave the room that she was in.
Yeah, I've seen that. Who the hell drew that? Like, what?
Yeah, they just dropped these dodgy 3D assets in and just traced over it, and they didn't even think about whether that made sense in as a room. I remember watching one of Ethan's early videos where he's talking about perspective and how the eyeline and all that sort of stuff. That stuff always eluded me. I could never do sequential art because I never quite got that stuff. But these guys, they don't care. They got the job. They just fell ass backwards into work. They got the job. They lose the job. They'll get another job. So why do they care? They don't care. It's not their dream. This is your dream book. This is the book that you want to draw. So
yeah,
you're doing the best job you can. And that's what people get with ComicsGate and with a lot of indie comics. There's a lot of creators aren't necessarily exactly ComicsGate, but they have a lot of the values. The guy who does Rags, the guy who does Saving the World, the guy who does Jack Iron, guy who does Perfect 10. I don't know if he identifies as a ComicsGate, but it doesn't matter to me because he's got those values. That's what it's all about. If you're putting out the best book you can, and as far as and you're not having a go at the customs, you're not blocking people and telling people where you don't belong, you're ComicsGate whether you want to be or not.
Let's just appreciate this tree for a second. The
closest trees.
But this tree that's closest to us, I've been so happy with that one since the second I drew it. It's the only tree on the entire page that I actually like. So let's just leave it there for a second. So
is the next book being set in a desert?
I'm burning the forest down and we're jumping in the ocean.
That's the go.
Spoilers, everyone. I'm burning the forest down.
That's insane level of detail, man. That is so good. Look at that. That's just mind blown.
Thank you. It's taking forever.
Yeah.
All those shadows that have been done, that took pretty much all day.
But I can see the difference. I can see the weight. I can see the depth. And when you get those colors over it, when you get some really solid colors over it, that black is it's going to pop. You got that high contrast. People are going to take notice. And that's your establishing shot. Like people open the book and go, "Dang, this dude can draw trees."
Right. That's all they're going to get out of this book by the end of it is many, many, many trees.
Dean can draw trees. He hates them, but he's good at it.
Yeah.
No, it
Never
looks
wanna see
fantastic. It's well worth the time you put into it.
I still got to add shadows. As you can see, none of the trees actually have shadows except for these trees at the front, down the very bottom. But none of the trees have any shadows yet, so I've still got a fair bit to go. Like,
So,
that's literally about halfway done.
so global warming doesn't exist in your comic book universe?
No. No. They don't even have electricity yet. Don't worry about them. They're fine. Oh. Yeah. So I'm making my way from the bottom of the page to the top, and then I'll have it finished, and I'll actually post this, like a proper HD version of this, on Twitter for everyone to see. Because
who was it talking? Was it Roger talking about you potentially having a black and white version of the book available as well?
Yeah. The second he saw that's what he said.
Yeah,
was as soon as he saw
absolutely. Yeah, people do like black and white ash cans. I could definitely see that being the sort of thing that people would go in for with the way you draw. Because especially if you've added this extra level of shadow, and that nice aesthetic, it's going to have a real underground feel to the whole thing, but with a professional finish.
Yeah, well, that's what we're aiming for, right? And if that's what the people want, like, I'm happy to oblige. If people could start asking, hey, can we have a black and white version? Sure, I'll happily do that. We'll make it a stretch goal or something.
Yeah, stretch goal's a good idea.
Yeah. Like a black and white version.
Yeah. Black and white cover.
So, it only costs a couple of grand to print a few hundred copies, I
was surprised when I got some figures back for some people I talked to. I think I might have shared them with you guys. I was surprised how cost efficient this sort of thing is.
Yeah,
a couple of grand.
It definitely is. But I had planned out with, like, when I was doing all of the budgeting and things, I had worked it out with like $1,000 or something extra, because I thought it was going to be at least $5,000 to print like a couple hundred, and ends up I could print like 1,000 for that much.
Yeah, so may as well overprint.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you getting yours printed through?
I haven't decided yet. I've spoken to a couple of different ones, but I haven't decided yet. But definitely in Australia. Most of them are in Sydney.
What sort of quote did they give you?
Couple grand. Because I would get 3, 5, or 1,000, and I'd get a quote for each one for 300, 500, or 1,000.
Yeah.
Right.
And then depending on how well I do, when I actually print the books is what I'll go get done, Because like, there's
couple grand for 1,000 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I remember somebody told me they were quoted. Excuse me. And this is someone that's done a few, like, fulfilled a few Indiegogo Kickstarter campaigns himself. I'm pretty sure he told me $2,000 for 500 books. So it's like $4 a book. So if you're charging, $8, $10, $12 for your book. Yeah, you see some people.
It works out to about $7 for us because we have Aussie dollars, which are garbage.
Yeah. Well, this is actually an Australian quote.
Oh well, was that SK? He would know. Yes. I need to talk to him.
Oh, he's the man. He's just such.
He loves his paper,
and he's his paper. He's actually doing the lettering on ComicsMATE, and he's just so good at what he does. You say that bad lettering, bad coloring can make your professional book look unprofessional. He just knows so much about the conventions of lettering, about the kerning, about the size of the bulb, about where it sits. I had a bunch of uncolored pages there, and he said, "Oh, have you got a letterer yet?" And I said, "No, I've asked for suggestions, but like Twitter's like shouting into the void. Sometimes you say, does anybody know a good such and such, and nobody will respond. And I don't take it personally because people are busy and people think somebody else will do it, or
Look at Jason. We've got to look at these comments, right? Jason, he would recreate that bar. I would buy that just for the ridiculousness of it all. Yeah, sorry, Lee. I got distracted there.
It's all right, it happens. Shiny objects. Stephen said, "Oh, chuck me a couple of your coloured pages and I'll throw some letters on it just to show you what it could look like." I said, yeah, right, that's cool. So I sent him the script and I sent him a few pages, the first 5 pages, and he sent them back in like record time. And they look fantastic. I said, that's excellent, man. I couldn't stop grinning, because that's really the last piece of the puzzle. When you've got the letters on there, when you've got the speech balloons and the text boxes, the narration boxes, you're like, this is a comic. I'm making a comic. And he said, you like it, do you? I said, oh, yeah, it's fantastic. He goes, so have I got the job? I'm like, yeah, you do. That's how you get a job. He didn't sit around waiting for someone to approach him. He came to me and said, you got any letters done? No. Let me show you what letters can look like. Cool. Do you want them all look like that? Yes. Hire me. Done.
Oh, so, I didn't even know you needed a letterer.
I mean, it's something I had to sort out in the future. It's not something I really thought too much about it. I said, I know that everybody says Eric Weathers is fantastic, but he seems pretty busy and he's got his own book coming out. And, it's like it's like trying to get, what's his name, who does all of Ethan's colours. Imagine trying to get Cole Ritter to colour your book or cover your colour or something, colour your cover. That guy's flat out. He doesn't have time to take, if you're working on a big project, you don't have time to be taking little small side projects on the side and getting in the way when you've got deadlines and people expecting you to deliver. So, that's a thing. So I just wanted to give maybe somebody who wasn't as well known, somebody who wasn't so backed up with work, a chance to do some lettering, and asked Stephen come through. And I've seen I think he's probably lettered about 15 pages of the 60 I'm going to be doing, and I've got 40 pages of art done, and he's lettered 15 of them. And I just said, look, I like the way you work. I like your attention to detail. As far as I'm concerned, you can do the letters for all 4 books, because there's four stories, and each story is made up of several issues. So he's going to, it's like 12 issues overall. He's going to end up, he can just do the letters and all of them, and all the, I'm like that. If I like an artist, like a colorist, and I like the way they do things, like, oh, I'll just work with you forever until you get sick of me and I'll have to find someone else. So I said, Stephen, all right, well, you can just,
aren't they?
What's that?
Like, you've already written it all out and everything, haven't you?
Yeah, the script's all done. So it's just a matter of whenever a paycheck comes in saying, okay, this much goes to the artist, this much goes to the letter, this much goes to the color, and just, every fortnight I can get so many pages done and just slowly building it up. So it's taken a good chunk of this year to get the 40 pages of art. I've got to catch up on the colors a little bit, but it should definitely be ready for early next year. So I'll probably start a mailing list to campaign soon and start spruiking it, start what's Liam saying earlier, Carnival Barker, just getting it out there and talk about it a bit more. I had this I think, false misconception in my head that if you and it's contrary to everything I've seen in ComicsGate, if you show somebody a character sketch, they go, oh, that's cool. I want to sign up for that, because people didn't always used to do the mailing list to sign up. That's a newer thing. It's being done a lot now, but early days, Cyberfrog, Detective Dead, Zach stuff, Antonio Bryce's thing. Like, I don't think they did mailing lists all the way back then. The mailing list is something that's really common in fiction writing. So if you're a fiction writer, if you write novels and books, having a mailing list where you can communicate with your fan base is a really big deal, and they use that to upsell and to make income funnels. Where you bought issue book 1, here you can buy book 2, or you can buy the whole set of 10 books in the Blood Blade Skull Throne series for half the price. And that's how you upsell them, and you do that all through the email and keep them alerted. So this is something that's newer to ComicsGate. Before that, it wasn't so much done. And I had this weird impression in my head that if you show someone a character sketch and then don't capitalize on it straight away, they get their enthusiasm for it wanes. You can't just show them a sketch in January and another sketch in February, another sketch in May, and expect them to give a damn by October. But more and more I'm seeing that people do remember, they do retain, and they do care. And there is a cooling off period. I sort of had this mentality in my head where I was going to have to show sketches and panels and ideas and blurbs and bits and behind the scenes stuff in this steadily increasing scale to build momentum and to build hype. But I don't think it works like that. I don't think it's a sprint like that. I think it's more of a marathon where you've got to make as many people as possible aware of your product and have those character sketches and those panels up there, make people go, hey, that looks really good. I'm going to check out that page. Because when you do the mailing list sign up, there's an extra step. You sign up and say, yeah, I will sign up for Dean's book. Cool. Hit enter. And then it sends you an email saying, please confirm that you want to sign up to this. I wonder how many people sign up the first time and don't go into their email and copy and paste the link into another browser to confirm they actually do want to follow that campaign. I wonder how many what the drop-off rate is from there. So what's that?
I've done it twice. The first time I done it, I just done through Indiegogo, and then you do the thing, and then I didn't realize you had to do the go into email and confirm it, so I missed out on that one.
Yeah.
I've done it twice.
It's not the most efficient system. I don't know why it does that. I suppose to stop spam. Like if somebody wants to be a dick, they can get your email and put in a bunch of stuff. Jason says he thinks Zach was the first with the mailing lists, but Sweetcast, he's right. Sweetcast was the one that really made it into a winning model. So I just got to get out there and talk a bit more. I'll be right back, boys. Continue on in my absence.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Sweetcast is a good bloke. I watched a bunch of his videos without even knowing what ComicsMATE was. He's another one of those random YouTubers that I was a fan of before I'd ever heard of any of these.
I was the same. I liked his intro music. Reminds me of Mario.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's great. But yeah. So, Jason, you're still watching. What do you think of my title cover so far? I'm clearly not finished, but you can get the gist of the... Remember how I said I was trying to recreate a comic book style? Me and Jason were talking about being artists last night. I can't remember. Yeah. What do you think, Callaway? You never comment on any of my stuff. Do you hate my style?
I've been off Twitter for ages.
That's not a no.
What made you put Other Earth in the middle? How come you didn't want to put it at the top or at the bottom or something? What made you go to the middle?
I just wanted it kind of because behind the writing, there's not really a lot of stuff. Just kind of an empty field and the bit of the ocean. So I kind of wanted it to be in the most empty spot I could put it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because if I put it too high, it was going to cover the crystals and that big branch at the top. And the big branch at the top is probably my favorite bit on the whole page. So, with the little frog boy and all that in it. But yeah, the title still might get moved up a little bit more. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's going to stay around the middle there.
Yeah, like I reckon if you move the title just above to where it is now. So it's like at the bottom of the bottom mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm keeping the top. I'm keeping the letters there, but I'm changing all the lettering because it didn't take long, but a few pages in, and then all of a sudden I learned how to letter properly. So it's like, oh shit, I should probably go back and fix some of those ones in the first pages. Lucky I've only done like 10 pages so far, though, right?
I want to learn to letter as well. You save a lot of money if you can letter. You can save a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's not as simple as you would think, but it's not difficult, Like, it's something that I picked up pretty quickly. But don't do it.
What program do you do your letters through with?
InDesign. I did these ones in Photoshop here, like the title, right?
Yeah.
But the actual word balloons and things will be done in InDesign.
InDesign, yeah, right.
Something about when it gets saved, when you use InDesign, it keeps the text as a text in the photo, like in the file, and so it never becomes pixelated. I don't know. It was something someone was explaining to us, and I was like, oh, that's a great tip. I'm going to keep that in mind. And like, I pay for all this Adobe crap, so I might as well, right?
Yeah.
Because like I never, I don't even use Adobe Animator or anything when I'm making the cartoons. Like I'm literally doing that all backwards too. But I really should use all the Adobe stuff that I pay for monthly.
What do you do? What do you do your little animated videos on?
Oh, I draw them. I draw the frames in Photoshop, and then I use Wondershare Camera.
Yeah. I had to renew my Wondershare the other day. I thought, you just buy it and that's it, but it must be a yearly subscription.
No, you can buy it or you can be subscribed. I bought it. I owned it for like $100. I've never had to renew it.
I think I paid the $60 one or something.
Yeah, no, I paid like $100 and it was a one-time purchase.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you watch my review of that Garbage Man? The Hollywood trash.
Yeah,
one?
I did. That actually looks pretty funny, that book.
Was not what I was expecting.
Not at all. Should be good. Looked like a good read though. Like, what did you buy that for the cringe, or were you like hoping it would be okay?
I bought it just for something to review.
Oh, okay. Have you read Big Girls yet?
I'll flick through it. I haven't read it yet.
Because apparently it's not as bad.
It was very different to what I was expecting to when I flicked through it. I was expecting big girls, but they're literally giants.
Yeah, it's got apparently I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was Zach, and I watched a couple of videos on YouTube about it when it first came out, and apparently, it's got like little bits of cringe here and there, but it's not that bad. Like, it's not nearly as bad as you're expecting, and a lot of people bought it because of the title and everything, and they reckon that's not doing it any favors. Apparently, it's just alright.
The art's not the greatest in it, but
I'll read that's the work of me.
I'll read it and do a review, but I got a heap of books from that Scout Comics that I'm going to read too.
Cool.
There's a mini series called White Ash that I got that I want to read. It's like a small town that's like a coal mining town that turns into some murder mystical fantasy thing. Like people are dying in the town or something. So I'll read that and then I'll review that as well.
Yeah, well, I look forward to them because I always have a good laugh at your videos. When you watch Kemosabe's videos, they're very professional and they're very fair. All the things that everyone says about Kemosabe's videos. But whenever I watch your videos, they're just entertaining. Like, I genuinely like them.
I couldn't be bothered doing this. I couldn't be bothered doing the script style reviews and scripting, and then I was just read it.
You're like, sorry, man, it's going to be an off the cuff sort of video. Don't worry about it, and then you just keep going.
I don't even edit it. No, I watched that the Hollywood trash one. I'm like, I stay a lot.
You're like your videos are an Aussie, your boy Zach.
Yeah.
Because Kemosabe spends ages in his video editors, and I'm doing the cartoons, which takes even longer. And you're just like, don't worry about it. I'll pull out my phone. I'll flick through a comic book, chuck it up. Legend. Yeah, he works smart.
He takes a week to edit his.
It takes me 4 days to do a cartoon. And that's if I do it 4 days straight, like 4 full days of working on it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, like the fact that I've just doubled my workload in the last couple of days, man, by doing the cartoons and then deciding to do this style with my book. I've doubled my workload.
It's crazy. The only editing on my reviews I do is if a notification comes up on my computer when I'm screen recording, and I got to edit it so I don't dox myself. That's it. That's the only editing I do.
Well, you guys have seen screenshots of my editing process with the thousands of images and layers. I wouldn't recommend it. I think Kellaway's the smartest of it all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Because he's got it all worked out. Just a phone and a comic book on the table.
Yeah. I've tried to just wing it, but it just doesn't work. I either ramble on too much, big surprise, or I can't think of the right thing to say. I'm better off when I don't ad-lib stuff, when I have stuff written down.
What do you think of Hollywood trash, Kemosabe? What do you think?
I'm still halfway through your review. I'm up to the bit where they're in the car. You're going through the dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I've still got it open in a panel here somewhere in a tab here.
I'm more confused finishing the book than I was before it.
It's
swap
one
back
of
to
those things.
screen.
What's that?
Because we're done with my screen. We don't need to leave mine on the screen anymore. You can swap that around if you want.
All right. Well, I'll open up these updated characters and have a flip through those. And
yeah,
promote it. Promote your book.
It'd be great if I actually had the heroes of the book to promote. That'd be the smart move, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
If your heroes die like Game of Thrones, I'm not reading it.
No, you're allowed to kill some heroes, aren't you? Come on.
Well, especially if they're the spiel is it's Suicide Squad meets Body of Lies. It's like these morally questionable metahumans operating in the Middle East. So, the people are going to die and people are going to get killed. I certainly am not going to do a whole team wipe like Zach did. I think he killed off most of the
people complained to him.
Jawbreakers.
And it was at the start too. It was like a flashback thing. And they're like, yeah, but we've already seen what happens to them now, so what the hell?
Yeah, once they're dead, you just don't care as much anymore. It's like when they did that Marv flashback in Sin City. It's like, you can tell me all the cool adventures he had, but I know he ends up dead. Like, I know how that story ends, so I don't care as much anymore. That's what I don't like about it. Was that his pants?
Yeah, I like his pants.
See, that's the sort of thing when you're working with an artist, because the artist is Brazilian. I said, I'm going for the whole favela sort of ththing. This is how he interpreted that. This is how he added that to it. So you can see he's there with a gun, and he's not transforming his arms into a gun, like because this guy only speaks Portuguese, so we can only communicate through like Google Translate. It's not that efficient. I try to write all my emails to him in a really neutral, non-emotive style, because I hope that'll translate more efficiently. But
no idioms or anything they don't understand.
So sometimes he sends me back an email and I'm just like, bro, I got no idea. I know there's English words there, but they don't fit the situation. Can you just try and say that in a different way? And we've been working together for nearly a year now, so we're getting there. So this is his putting that flavor in it. So this is one of the characters he says is really popular amongst his clique back home. They're all really liking him, and because he hasn't done the arms transforming into the guns, like I said, I'll just have this guy get smashed, get absolutely shattered and devastated. But he's a cyborg, so he's going to be able to survive that, and he comes back later on with the gun arms. So I can move him up into that. That's not a problem. So that's the update of Arsenal, which I was pretty happy with. Like, same as you, I like the pants. I like the.
Yeah, I really like that.
What are the blue things on his right arm?
Oh, fuck knows. Looks cool.
Mechanical stuff coming out. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't. That's why he plugs in his charger. I don't put that much. That's like, what's his eye color? What's his favorite food? I just don't put that much thought into it. Like, this guy is designed to die.
I just thought the things on his arm obviously were meant to be for something. I don't know.
No, originally they were like the node points. He had seams on his arms, and the arms would split and turn into guns themselves. So it was like these big arm cannons. That's why his name's Arsenal. He's a walking arsenal. He can create any gun he wants out of his.
Ah, okay.
The way Mercy's up.
Who's Mercy?
Is that what you mean? Lex Luthor's assistant.
Oh yeah, in the cartoon. Yeah, like that. But he can make any gun. Like, he just
That's awesome.
Twin pistols or a big, rocket launcher, anything like that. But that didn't come across the translation. So
Cyberpunk shit is awesome. So I'm down. I dig that.
Yeah, and it's not a very costume-heavy sort of world. Like, not a lot of the characters actually have proper superhero costumes. It's more like metahuman operatives with like cool, slick gear, but not necessarily. This guy's third world. Yeah, he's like this third world merc that's got this jury-rigged cybernetics that has been jacked into him. Makes him better than a regular person, but it's also really unreliable. Probably his motivation is to get paid to get better cybernetics, to be better at his job, to get paid again. Next one, this is Nuke. So you can see the colors are different. They went with blue fire, but that's a simple fix. Color shift in Photoshop, and he's drawn the guy's face, but I wanted him to be like constantly burning with flames. That's something else that's got to be. And because these are just made up characters, I just, like I said in the script, I just called this guy Nuke, and I called the other guy not Super Patriot. I just referred to them by their powers, and then end up becoming their names. So I'm not too worried about it. So if this guy ends up looking like this, that's not a deal breaker for me. This guy's going to die in about 8 pages.
I've always liked Blue Flames. I think that Blue Flames doesn't get used enough anyway. I've always liked it.
It does look pretty cool. It looks more.
Did any of you guys hear in the early 90s of Killer Instinct?
Yeah, I played Killer Instinct.
Yeah, I loved that. I was a little kid. I was way too young for it. But there's a character in that called Cinder, who was basically a fire guy. He was just like the Human Torch. And he had a bunch of alternate colors, and there was a blue one and a green one, and they looked way better than the orange, like fire.
Yeah.
The red colored one. And that, I saw that when I was about 5 or 6, and I've always thought that, if I make a fire character, I'd probably make him blue anyway. So I really like that. I prefer that over the orange.
And it's easier for me to just change his name from Nuke to something to do with stars or celestial energy or whatever. Like it's not a big deal. He's just a big merc in a power suit that shoots nuclear energy and probably gets his head torn off by one of the brawnier characters of the team.
He looks good there.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, not that I drew him. And you saw the original design. Like he's certainly taken some liberties with it, which is fine. I said to him, just make them cool, make them cooler. You know, and I want it to be almost a trademark of all the series that you have these cool characters turn up and you go, well, he could just as easily die. I'm not going to say it's like Walking Dead. They say, oh, no one's safe, and then Rick was completely safe the whole time. There's some characters I don't want to kill.
I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I do.
I agree with that. I would never.
I do like what he.
Everyone. Yeah. Okay, don't worry. I'll just finish my sentence here. Go on.
Now keep going. I got a lag. I think I got a lag.
Well, I would never kill. I would never kill off my characters entirely or anything. But I would never, ever in a million years say that they are 100% safe. Like even in Other Earth, the 3 or 4 main characters that you will have by the end of it, one of them I'm still undecided, but one of them is probably going to die, or at least have some sort of ambiguous ending. But like that's undecided still. But I would never ever say that my characters are safe and that no one's going to die, because where's the fun in that?
Yeah, there's got to be some. And this is a problem with a lot of the SJW stuff, is that Ms. Marvel's Captain Marvel. He's just gonna. I still call him to me for nearly 40 years. I've got some of the old 70s reprints with the like little digest sized ones, like half sized, almost.
She's
like
still in the black and yellow. Yeah,
with the bare legs and the 70s.
Yeah.
Brady Bunch haircut. Like that's Ms. Marvel. She had the scarf and everything. Like. That's how I still see her. So when Captain Marvel's, and to me, Captain Marvel's a guy that says Shazam to me. That's how I was raised. So I just noticed here on Nuke, he's got these little nodes here that are exuding like cooling gas. Like I'd say he's overheating, and he's got to exhaust out some heat to keep himself from overheating because he's constantly burning with nuclear energy. That's pretty cool.
I need to find my old character, because I had a character who was so similar to this that it's insane. Like except my character was a little kid, but he had the suit that kept him, like he was always on fire and he was in pain, and he had the suit and everything, and it's crazy. Like I want to show, like I'm never going to use it for anything. I've got to find it. It's like a 10-year-old drawing that I did. I've got to show you it because it will blow your mind how similar it is.
I mean, I'd never say any of these characters are super original. Like like I said in the script, they're just referred to as what character they are not, because that's so clearly left out. Yeah,
that's not what I
mean. No, I know that, and I'm just saying, like, this is a fairly universal concept, isn't it? You got Radioactive Man, anything with a containment suit. And that's what I wanted to avoid with these guys. I wanted these guys to be like these almost generic mercenaries, and the fact that I'd make these 5 characters that several people said, hey, that's cool. I like that about him. He looks cool. I want to know more about him. I've paid for these character sketches to be made, and then they get killed off. Shows the sort of world these guys are living in. Like these guys aren't safe. That's the update of Nuke.
I love it. That blue part of his costume looks cool. The one on the right, like the blue and the white, like in that looks cool.
Well, the artist's idea was to have character. I said, "Can you draw me character shots?" And I showed him like some of Bob Stone's stuff, and I said, "I just want like character shots of just not necessarily front, back, and side, because that's a lot of work." I didn't want to pay him to draw it 3 times. He gave me a fairly good rate on these though. So can you just draw something that shows them, their powers being shown off, sort of thing, and then maybe a headshot or whatever? And he said, what if I do pictures of them all just standing there, but I also do a second picture of them utilizing their powers, and then later on we can assemble those 5 pictures to create like a team shot? I'm like, yes, do it. He ended up charging me less than half of what he charges for a fully drawn page for these, so made out pretty well. But I think he sees this as an investment. Like I've said to him, look, I like the way you work. We work well together despite the language barrier. I like how much you charge me for stuff. Like I can live with that. So I said, I think you've defined how these guys all look. I want you to be the artist for the whole Company Men line. I've got 4 scripts written out, 480-page scripts written out. Each book's going to be 3 60-page books. I know what I'm doing in terms of the story. So I want to say, if you want to, you can be. This is your job for the next 4 years, 5 years. Draw all my company books for me. Every payday, I will pay for 5 to 10 pages, and you draw them, and that's your job. You know. And when you see what it converts over to Brazilian reals, these guys do all right with our money, and that's a whole new market that I don't think that the big two are really tapping into efficiently. Anyway, so this is Rocket. So you see, like
characters.
Sorry, mate.
That's the kind of thing I want to do. If anyone's listening and they need character designs, come check me out. I'm cheap.
And this I was telling you guys before in the chat, like this, the Company Men's one of maybe 40 or 50 franchises I've got planned out, and not in that sitting there with a text document open, scribbling ideas. Like I've got many developed scripts and character sketches and mythos, and I know how to write a good story. I know how to write a good comic. I know what works. So I get more ideas than I can work through in a realistic time frame. So if these take off the way that I'd like them to, I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. I've got enough. I'm nearly 40. I've got enough stories to last me till I die. Honestly, I can keep doing this for a long time.
Yeah, assuming you make money, why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, well, I believe in Comic Man. Like, I've seen enough of it to say that, yes, I would definitely be buying it, even if it was on the shelf next to Superman and that.
Yeah, thanks. It's a really good cover, too. That helps. Might show off the cover.
The cover is killer.
Like, these are just, 3-tone character sketches to try and just say, hey, this is the aesthetic. If this is your sort of thing, like paramilitary, metahumans, not quite superheroes. I mean, the power levels are all fairly low. Like the strongest guy in the world is probably Ben Grimm level strength. So, it's not crazy over the top powers. Most people sort of X-Men level powers.
Yeah, but he can still stop a truck. So.
Oh yeah. He's got this scene where he punches a tank shell out of the air, busts his arm off. He laughs about it and keeps going. He's madman, absolute madman. So there's Rocket. The artist ended up drawing like this flight apparatus on his back that he said, "Oh, can I draw like flight wing type apparatus thing on his back?" I'm like, "Yeah, go for it. These guys are going to die anyway." So it's not that I don't care about them, but they're just placeholders.
It's like have a bit of fun with these characters, yeah.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, you got to draw them. You're getting paid for it. You may as well enjoy yourself. So I think he still managed to keep some of that like military flight suit type flak jacket thing with some of the straps. But I like the little short arm sleeves on the shirt. It's a little bit more efficient and effective than maybe the scrappy costume I had him in. So that's the telekinetic girl. So there's a big upgrade there. I think he's desperate to draw some women because the script's fairly a bit of a sausage party. So he really
her powers are purple, right?
Oh, she's just telekinetic. I haven't really decided what color her powers are.
I remember on the cover.
No, these are the bad guys.
Oh, well, there's someone in the background using purple powers.
Yeah, that's Gates. He's a teleporter.
Oh, okay.
So he's in the cover. He's teleporting. I think he's probably what he's doing is teleporting the cars in to throw them as an object in like a projectile.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm picturing then. Either way, carry on.
Yeah. So this is the other one he said was really popular back home. He said, "Please don't kill her off." I'm like, she's going to die. Sorry, bro. I like you, but I've got a definite idea in mind about how things go on. So I'm not sure what he's doing with the gun there. If she uses telekinesis to propel the bullets more efficiently than maybe gunpowder does. She's got that visor that comes down like the Silverhawks, using a telekinesis to fly. I'm not sure why he added a gun to her, but I don't mind. It's cool. I like the look of it. It's got that real cable 90s Rob Liefeld type thing with the extra accessories and the extended mag and that you just don't see anymore.
Yeah.
And I think the Ninja's the last one. Yeah, X-Blade. So
yeah, that one, I like him. He's cool.
Yeah. He doesn't actually say anything. He's just like, you're silent but deadly sort of.
Is he like a snake eye?
Sorry? Yeah, snake eyes, yeah.
Like snake eyes?
Yeah, like cybernetic snake eyes. And he took the idea, like had the hair braid drawn in. He's turned them into like predator type metal coils, which I think looks fantastic. Great for movement, like that flow when he's jumping. And the color schemes it keeps the same colors, but he's just redesigned them and placed different areas to be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, so, I love this. I straight up love this one.
Yeah, it's pretty pretty happy with all of it, really.
Yeah, he looks cool.
You should
I like
be.
the
You
way that-
definitely should be. Although like ComicsMATE doesn't know what it's about to hit it, honestly.
Yeah, it's I really believe in it. I'm using this one not because it's my dream project, but because it's the one I believe is the most financially viable. It's one that people will see and go, "Oh, that looks cool. I want to buy that."
It does.
And yeah, thanks.
That's exactly the reaction. It's like
It's just cool. Yeah. Like
It's
Liam
just
was
cool.
saying in the stream earlier, and I've heard you give this advice before. He advises against first-time writers writing team books, which I think is really good advice.
I heard that. I was thinking about you when he said
Yeah, he might have been too, but I'm not a first-time writer. I've been writing for a long time. I just never thought I'd be able to make a comic. So I wrote it because I couldn't not write. I couldn't have all these ideas and not do something with it. So I've got years worth of scripts, and they're all perfect. They all can use some reworking here and there and brought up to modern sensibilities and maybe tweaked for a ComicsGate audience. But I've got years and years, like decades of scripts backlog there that I can draw upon. I never thought I'd get a chance to do this. This is what ComicsGate does. It's given me the opportunity. Imagine if I'd done this. When did Jawbreakers come out? When did Zach first really, I think Jawbreakers coming out on Indiegogo, Lost Souls is probably the start of 2018. 2018, there you go. That was the flag in the ground moment, planted the flag in the ground of ComicsGate being a viable moneymaker. And from then on, everybody's been making money. If I tried doing that even 6 months before Zach did that, what would I be doing? Pitching it to Image? Paying thousands of dollars of my own money to pitch it to Image to get distributed to stores that were getting shut down in 2 years' time?
Yeah.
For them to say, you've cast, your story's set in the Middle East and you've cast Arabic men as bad guys. Well, they're also cast as good guys, neutral guys, street sweepers, millionaires, secret agents, policemen, fathers, sons, killers, doctors, healers. It's the Middle East. There's a lot of Middle Eastern men. There's a lot of Arabic men. To be told that my story doesn't fit modern sensibilities, no way. There'll be no point. There would be no point paying this guy, contacting him and paying thousands of dollars every couple of weeks to get him to draw my pages and draw my story. It would have just sat on my hard drive there, getting older and older, like me, and getting sadder and sadder. So ComicsGate's given me the opportunity to make this a real thing. One day soon, in 6 months'
best
time,
parts of ComicsGate.
yeah, I'll be holding my own comic book, the first issue.
Yeah.
It'll be on the shelf, and it'll have my name on it, and it's going to be the start of.
Like you could have done that. You could have done that, right?
Yeah.
But like it would not have been the same, and it would have been a much bigger risk. And like ComicsGate gives you the community of people that want to buy these books. It gives you access to, like, what's the word? Like-minded people that are also in the same boat. And that's something that you didn't have. Even if you had all these stories, you wouldn't have had that.
It's a marketplace, and you can say, hey, you guys are of this mentality. Here's my book. It fits that mentality. It might not suit everybody. I know there's a guy on Twitter, can't remember his name. I'm real bad like that. But I know that he doesn't like anything too violent. He doesn't like anything that's got too much cussing in it. He didn't like The Boys. He doesn't like when superheroes are brought down and brought low and made to look foolish and cowardly and bloody and torn up and ripped and destroyed. And like, I've got a mentality like that. Like, I don't like that for noble superheroes. It's fine for The Boys to get beat down. It's fine for the Suicide Squad to get gritty. That's what they do. This guy doesn't like all that sort of stuff, doesn't like the mean side of superheroics, the deconstructed post-Alan Moore side of superheroics. Okay, that's cool. He probably won't like my book. I hope he still finds something of value in it. Definitely my book's for anybody that wants to buy it, but I can understand that it's not going to appeal to everybody, but it's the first in a whole empire of stories that I want to tell with several different worlds. This, like I said, the strongest guy in this world is the level of maybe The Thing, in terms of pure physical strength and resilience. I got other worlds where people are more powerful, less powerful. Some are very traditional superheroics with spandex, some not so much. So some are in the future, some are in the present, some are alternate histories. I got a whole universe of Golden Age mystery men, like all the Shadow, the Phantom, that sort of stuff, like real old school, 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, fighting gangsters, Bugsy Malone, that sort of thing. There's like a whole mythos. That's this other world. Probably the third franchise I'll invest in once these are off the ground.
Yeah, I have a few superheroes and stuff outside. Like once I'm done with my first, but like they're there's a lot of them that, you know, a lot of the superheroes I came up with from, you know, when I was a kid to teenager to young adult, you know. So a lot, like I would need to rework a bunch of them. But like I think superheroes, that we need more superheroes in CG. Like I think that's why Peregrine was so successful, is because we do want superheroes. Just there just isn't many yet.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing horror stuff and zombie stuff and stuff like you know, like Shinobi Sasquatch. She's a Sasquatch ninja werewolf. Or you got a bear Viking
because of the artist.
Was that?
Shinobi Sasquatch is only as big as it is because it's Rob Willis.
I mean, the artwork's fantastic, no doubt. But I'm just more saying, like, there's a lot of these sort of, you know, Shogun dinosaur, ninja, Sasquatch, you know, six-kill gorilla, all these sort of like, you know, weapon or pirate giraffe. I don't know. Like they just sort of mash these two things together. And this is something I've said in my reviews. Like, how often are people going to come back to this book and read it again? You know, something like Kingdom Come. I've read Kingdom Come so many times. I wore out my copy and ended up buying it in trade because I was wearing out the individual floppy issues. Not that floppy, I think a 48-page with a cardboard cover. But, you know, that's a book I can come back to time and again. I want people to be able to come back to this story. Like, you know, when John Wick's on, you're flipping through the channels, John Wick comes on, and you're like, oh, yeah, hell yeah, I'll watch John Wick. Why not? I've got nothing else going on. I don't have a movie I particularly want to watch. We're flipping through Netflix. I'm not subscribed to Netflix anymore. I dropped them after the Cuties thing. That's the last straw. But you're scrolling through one of your other streaming services and you see some movie you like. It's always good. Oh, it's always a good movie. Yeah, I'll chuck that on. I've got nothing else I particularly. Dread. I watch Dread any time of the day. I'll just drop what I'm doing. Like, hell yeah, Dread 2012. I'm down with that. I'm going to watch that.
I do that with Mad Max. Whenever Fury Road comes
Fury
on,
Road's
I will
one. Yeah, 100%. I will never not watch Fury Road if it's on. If someone says, "Hey man, Fury Road's on," cool, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and watch that. And it's easy to say, you know, whoa, because there's only about 17 lines of dialogue in the whole thing, but it's an experience, and I'll always watch it. So I want people to be able to go, you know, I don't want to do anything else. I want to relive Company Man. I want to relive those bad door kickers, just taking care of business and the battles and the intrigue. And there's a lot of political intrigue. There's a lot of layers to it all. It's not just the morally reprehensible Suicide Squad. You know, there's they get burned. There's betrayals within betrayals. It's tested the loyalty stuff.
Even from what I've seen.
Yeah. It's I'd like to think people are going to think it's a smart book as well as cool. It's not just about having cyber ninjas and backflips and laser visions and stuff. It's people also going to go, this is actually a really smart book. Like this guy's thought about the levels and the politics and stuff that's set up even on like page 1, 2, and 3 become plot points in page 120, 130. And like, yeah, this guy had this planned out ahead of time. Like he had a definite vision.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, that's before my time, Jason. That's long.
Yeah, I didn't know it existed then.
Yeah.
It's funny the way that ComicsMATE sort of grew
alongside.
Yeah, absolutely. Alongside Zach. Like he was like, to me, Zach was the, you know, progenitor of it. And I was following his journey. And then ComicsMATE was sort of happening around him, and people sort of latched onto the movement, as it was termed. So I remember sort of first, because I didn't used to have Twitter. I don't have another Twitter. I don't have Facebook. I don't do any of that sort of social media stuff. But I realized, you know, Twitter was where a lot of this stuff was happening. Like I met you guys through Twitter. Nobody in the world would know I have a book. How would I advertise my book? How would I market if I didn't have Twitter? How the hell would I do that? Like it works for Zach. Yeah, you can't. He's got 100,000 subs. That's good for him. I've got 136. I got one more a minute ago. Yeah, our stream numbers are so.
Like,
sorry.
I would freak out having like 1 million subscribers, you know? Like I'm so proud to have 44. That's awesome. I don't know who those 44 people are. I know about 10 of them.
So you know, I come into, I just jump on a browser and I'd type in EVS Twitter because his is always the spiciest, and I just sort of see what's happening with ComicsMATE, and I realize this is where everything's happening. Like, yeah, Twitter's an awful place, but this is where it's going on. So I need to get onto this. So I made a Twitter and I just started following people and commenting and building up a bit of a little bit of a sub count that way. But with when I first come in, I think the Detective Dead was funding, and it was blowing up really big. And I think it's like what Jason was saying, one of those earlier first or second generation ComicsMATE books that is probably the biggest failure story as well as being like it was a success story. It raised really good money, and I don't really want to go into more of it here.
Still isn't out though, you know, like
Yeah,
he's saying it's the first generation lineup. It's one of those way back in the day. It was. I didn't know that when I first saw it. It was still funding and stuff, so I was like, "Oh, cool," and I backed it. You know, I think it was already in demand when I first saw it, but I had no idea how long it had been there at all. I had no idea. And if I had known that, I probably would have backed it because it doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon. So, but yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say. The way you said how you picked Company Men because you think it has the broadest appeal, that's the same reason that I chose my other Earth over some of my other stories, because it seems like it is the one that would have the broadest appeal and could go to, you know, more than just a specific audience. Like, because, you know, I have a Batman character, I have a bloody X-Men team, stuff like that. But yeah, like what's the word I'm looking for? But it just seems to be the most, like, it would go with the general audiences and stuff the best.
Yeah, and I think it's got the widest appeal too, because it's not like a lot of people don't like cape shit. The second they see spandex, like, nah, I'm out. And then you got people who see, you know, like my book's pretty violent. These guys do horrible things to worse people, so people are going to see that and go, I'm out. People are going to see the swearing and say, I'm out. People are going to see that in the Middle East, the bad guys happen to be Arabic, so they're going to see that they're going to feel there's political messages there when it's just a setting. It's just a coat of paint. And they'll be out too. So there's so many ways for people to dip out of my book before it's even on the shelf. Your book, I don't think it has any of those negative connotations. It's just got this broad appeal. And it's an adventure story, so people are just going to go with, you know, it's like supernatural horror-ish elements, I would say. That appeals to everybody. I don't think anybody's going to hear that sort of blurb and go, oh, no, that doesn't appeal to me. If I go through and say, you know, violent metahuman government agents, patriotic, pro-America, anti, you know, the guys that they're fighting, which in this case happens to be Islamic extremists, happens to be terrorists, probably got your stream struck. Sorry, Kells. That happens. That's how my channel got nuked. Daring to talk about the peaceful people. People could dip out at any point, but people are going to hear your blurb and go, that appeals. Yeah, I like those things. I like all those things. I like horror. I like the supernatural. I like adventures. They're going to want to buy in on this. And if they like 90s nostalgia, if they like that 90s style, that 90s visual, and you're really channeling that 90s style, like when you see the characters and the sister in that in particular, the sister's got that real, I think you said you're modeling after Pamela Anderson, but I was getting Yasmin Bleeth from Baywatch. Like they're real.
I didn't say that. Roger said that. And then he brought up a photo. He was right. It looks like a young Pamela Anderson.
I think he just wanted to picture Pamela Anderson in the chat, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it does. I'll give him that though. In that panel, that first picture that I showed him, it really does look like a photo of a young Pamela Anderson with dark hair. But that's not what I was going for at all. I was just trying to make, a generic Italian, like French, you know, like a generic European attractive teenage girl. That's what I was trying to make. She's about 19, 20, you know, like 21 at the most. Like she's old enough to buy her own cigarettes, but she still lives at home.
And it was shortly after that the Dean was cancelled. Yep.
Like I really didn't put too much thought into that, you know, the way the other side glorifies race. That's not something I care about. Like unless I want the character to have like, you know, like dark features or something, I'm not going to bother. Like it's just outside of, all right, what color hair do they have? What color skin do they have? I don't really think about that stuff until I have to. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I have a character called Isaac. Here you go. Scoop, everyone. There's a character called Isaac he shows up in book 2, which is a long way away.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, fair go.
I'm not going to tell you anything about him, right? But he's just like just picture like generic stock standard handsome Arab dude, slightly big nose, bushy eyebrows and stuff, you know, like dark hair and shit. But like his name's Isaac and he's just a dude. Outside of that, I couldn't tell you anything about his ethnicity or anything. You'll just get what you get by looking at him, you know?
Which is how it used to be.
Yeah, it's how it should be, because that's, you know, like I'm not being racist by not including everything all the time.
Who was it that said if you try to please everybody, you'll please nobody? Abraham Lincoln, maybe?
Somebody wise, sure.
You just make your book, and the people who like it. The people who won't, and you can't do anything about that. You can be a spruiker, you can carnival bark it, you can get as many people on board as possible. You can say this is an offering, but you're not going to make everybody happy. There's the example I often use is Chuck Dixon writes 2 series that he releases fairly regularly, novels that he releases. One is called the character's called Levon Cade, and he's kind of like a Jack Reacher, ex-military type guy. And, wherever he goes, he happens to stumble into some trouble. Some of it he causes it, some of it he solves. And he's a very super competent, very level-headed guy, very clever the way that he tactically deals with these situations. I mean, it's Chuck Dixon. He's a great writer. So I buy it, I have Amazon there, and it goes, Bing, Chuck Dixon has released another Levon Cade book. I'm like, sweet as, hit buy, $3.99. I've said in a book, if it releases on a Thursday, I've bought it, read it, reviewed it by Friday, done. He's also got a second series. It's some sort of, what was you, Jason? What's Jason talking about?
I don't know.
Okay. Sorry, Jason. Not sure what you're talking about, mate.
It's fine.
Okay. He's also got another series that's about, I think they're about like time traveling treasure hunters. That's all I can tell you. I don't even really know. Like as soon as I heard time travel, I'm out. It just doesn't appeal to me. So he's a guy that I'll buy anything that he puts forward that's got Levon Cade on the cover. Bam, instant purchase. I don't even look at the price. Just it's mine owner now. He's got the whole of the series, 10 books.
Look it up now.
Oh, it's good, man. It's good, and like each book's only like $3. There's a fantastic scene in the first book where he just shotguns this guy in the chest. Like he deserved it, but the guy's like, "You're not going to shoot me." He's like, "So sure." What did you say, Jason? It was you that said that. What did you say? Anyway, I don't buy the other Chuck Dixon books. So I don't want to ignore the chat. It feels rude, and I'm really bad at paying attention to it. And if Jason's a wise dude, if he says something, I want to know.
I'm trying to tell you right now.
All right, I'm listening.
You said who was it that said that wise quote? And I said somebody wise, probably. Jason said it was him.
Well, I believe that because he's a wise guy. He's worth listening to. He sometimes slides into my DMs with a bit of advice. I'm like, thanks, man. Unsolicited. I didn't ask for his help, but he just pops by like advice. This genius fairy pops by and says, "Hey, here's a perspective." I'm like, "Whoa, didn't think of that." I think I'm a pretty clever guy, but Jason comes up with some next level type thinking, and it's always worth listening to. He's our secret weapon. People don't know CG's secret weapon, the Ranger of Dunedin.
Me and Jason had the best laugh last night, right? He said the same thing I did, and it's going to piss you off, Kimasabi. It's going to piss Skip off more than anyone. Remember when I sat there and I said that I don't understand perspective? Neither does Jason. He just copies things the way they look, the same way I do. And we had the best laugh about it. It's going to drive Skip insane, isn't it?
Perspective works.
But yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it might be nearly time for me to bail out.
That's fair enough. It's getting quite late, and I need to go do my regular night stuff, as in sleep and eat.
It's nearly bedtime.
Nearly bedtime. You guys are always awake in the middle of the night. I wake up to constant messages, and you dickheads are all having mad conversations at 1 a.m.
I didn't get a chance to finish my picture, Dean, but I started drawing the monster from your book.
Really?
Yes,
looks better than the original.
That's incredible. That's actually awesome.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
I can't draw and talk at the same time. I don't really have that talent like some people can. It'd be great if I could, because I'd be able to do like draw streams and stuff.
I don't know why, Lee. You talk very well.
Oh, thanks, mate. Talking a lot and talking about different things like that.
I actually love that. I want to finish that. That's
there we go.
I've never seen anything I've ever created drawn by anyone else.
It's a pretty good feeling. Even having old mate redesign my characters for me, just to see them in a more competent style is really edifying.
No, this is a strange feeling. Yeah, I don't know how to describe. This is actually incredible, man.
It's real,
even unfinished. I'm looking at this going, I know what that is. That's mine.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, you've seen some of my other stuff. I tend to do a more like painterly style. So once I get these outlines down, I'll probably build up some more black and white tones and.
You know my opinion on your black style thing. Like, you need to do more of that because I think that is your strength. That like the charcoal. Like, what would you even call that? Like,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's really good.
Just it grew out of necessity because I was doing so many pictures. I was doing like requests on 4chan. They have like these draw threads. You just go on there and say, look, I feel like drawing something, but I don't want to draw anything for myself because I'm never happy with anything I draw for myself. So what do you guys want? And they'll say, oh, can you draw like an elf dressed like this with this weapon? Yep, too easy. You smash out an elf and you're just trying to get as many done as possible. So I just developed this really painterly style, building up using like you put your pen on multiply and just build up all these tones. I'm an absolute rubbish painter in real life, but I build up these tones really effectively in Photoshop because you can just control it so much better. And that's just where that
digital has a lot of advantages like that.
It does.
Yeah. Well, that was a great stream, gentlemen. We need to go, seeing as Callaway wants to go.
He turns into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Started talking.
The old lady's going to be home soon, so.
It's fair enough.
Times. All right. Thanks for joining us, Jason. We hope we were. Yeah, we hope we were entertaining today. Like, I don't know. We were just kind of talking.
For the whole show, so.
Yeah, he's a good bloke.
He is. He really is.
All right. Well, yeah, that's actually.
Gent.
Talk to you later, mate.
See you.
Hey, Jace.